David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
A retired Chicago police detective is not saying much in a federal civil trial where he's accused of framing a man for 1988 murder. Reynaldo Guevara took the fifth 200 times on the federal witness stand yesterday, refusing to answer questions about policing practices, including whether he ever coerced witnesses into making false IDs. 11 are recovering after a car crash on Chicago's far south side. The wreck happened yesterday near 122nd and Ashland Avenue. Mayor Emanuel proposing a new tax on home sharing services to help fund services for shelters. Domestic abuse victims could use the extra beds, according to the mayor, who said plans for a new 2% fee on services like Airbnb will raise about $1.3 million annually. An investigation is underway following a shooting at a mall in Bloomingdale that wounded a store employee and another man. The victims were found shot yesterday in the parking lot at Stratford Square Mall. A new book released by the Chicago Crime Commission reveals new information about street gangs in the Chicago area. The commission estimates there are more than 50 gangs operating in Chicagoland with over 100,000 members. The American Medical Association Tuesday in Chicago pressed for an assault weapons ban and came out against arming teachers as a way to fight what it is now terming a public health crisis. AMA delegates voted to adopt several of a nearly dozen gun-related proposals presented by the doctor groups that are part of AMA's membership. They agreed to support any bans on the purchase or possession of guns and ammunition by people under the age of 21 and back laws that would require licensing and safety courses for gun owners and mandatory registration of all firearms. However, the AMA is no longer the unified voice of doctors in the U.S., and its hyper-political stances have caused many of its members to withdraw their membership. Now the AMA represents less than 1/4 of the nation's million-plus physicians. In other news, a former East Chicago, Indiana councilman is confessing to gunning down a man in 2015 while discussing a drug debt. Robert Battle is expected to plead guilty in Hammond federal court next Monday. A Crown Point, Indiana couple is accused of not paying very close attention while babysitting when a little boy found a gun in their home last summer and was fatally shot. Rachel Griffin and Brett Beatty are charged with neglect of a dependent, resulting in death. Eric Cole found the gun in a case under a bed in the couple's upstairs bedroom. A Northern Illinois man convicted of beating and stabbing his girlfriend to death and then hiding her body in a closet has been sentenced to 60 years in prison. A DeKalb County Circuit judge found 22-year-old Michael Colpin guilty of first-degree murder and other charges in the June 2016 killing. Officials have begun to act on a $1 billion plan to redevelop an old Chicago hospital that's been vacant for more than a decade. Developers plan to turn at least part of the old Cook County Hospital on the city's west side to a Hyatt hotel. Well, Dorothy and Toto are from Kansas, and the Wizard is from Oz. But The Wonderful Wizard of Oz is apparently Illinois' best book of the last 200 years. State's bicentennial best of voters last week picked that book, written by L. Frank Baum here in Chicago, as the best book for the state's 200th birthday. The rest of the top 5 books include The Jungle, Devil in the White City, Spoon River Anthology, highly recommended, and Native Son. Chase Anderson and 2 relievers combine on a 2-hitter. Brewers blanked the Cubs 4-0 in Milwaukee. Yoan Moncada, Yolmer Sanchez, back-to-back home runs to open the bottom of the first. White Sox gaining some steam. They defeat the Indians 5-1. Storm explode for 31 in the fourth quarter to pull past the sky. 96-85 in Seattle. Fire back on the pitch tonight, taking on the Rapids. The news, a service of Rogers and Hollins Jewelers. Did you know that Rogers and Hollins is Chicago's oldest and largest family-owned jewelry company with an amazing selection of engagement rings and wedding rings and bands, unique thank you gifts for your bridal party, perfect gifts to give each other. It's no wonder Couples have been trusting them for over 100 years. 5:08, check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
It's become a summer tradition. Rockin' for the Troops returns this summer on July 14th at Northwestern Medicine Field in Geneva, home of the Kane County Cougars. Don't miss this year's lineup featuring Seventh Heaven, Ayla Brown, Rocky Lynn, The Voices, and Ryan Weaver. Proceeds will benefit Operation Support Our Troops America. Get your tickets today at rockinforthetroops.org. That's rockinforthetroops.org.
Every business needs great people, and the better way to find them. Something better than posting your job online and just praying for the right people to see it. ZipRecruiter revolutionized hiring. Their technology finds great candidates for you. No wonder 80% of employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day. Goodbye post and pray. Hello ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Try it for free today at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
I'm Devin. I deliver sandwiches for Jimmy John's.
Freaktown! Population Devin.
We'll deliver one sandwich,
Minimum freak.
or hundreds of sandwiches.
Infinity freak.
However many you want.
You're mayor of Freaktown, Devin. Freaky fresh, freaky fast, Jimmy John's, freak yeah.
I'm Tammy. I get to Jimmy John's early every day
Freak-a-doodle-doo.
to bake bread fresh.
Freak-a-doodle-do.
And we keep on baking throughout the day, so it's always fresh for our customers. That's all.
Doodaloo, freak-a-doo. Freaky fresh, freaky fast, Jimmy John's, freak yeah.
If you're aged 59 and a half or older with the 401k plan and still working, stop what you're doing and call Arlington Capital Management at 855-471-5796. They'll help you actively manage your 401k, show you strategies to avoid major declines, and capitalize on opportunities. There are benefits with age, and this is one of them. At 59 and a half, you're entitled to new opportunities in the investment world that can dramatically improve your results and even lower your fees. Call 855-471-5796 now and take the first step toward getting more out of your retirement assets. The team at Arlington Capital Management proactively explores the market, our economy, and all of the variables that offset your investments. Call 855-471-5796 now for a complimentary consultation. That's 855-471-5796 or visit arlington-capital.com. You worked hard to accumulate your nest egg. Now, it's time to put your money to work for you.
It's 5:11 on AM 560. It's time for a dry basement and a healthy home, and time to call Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL. And time to check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Mike. Plainfield 59 is closed right now on the southbound side. 127th due to a collision there. A couple of multi-alarm fires blazing in the suburbs, one in Warrenville. This is a multi-alarm blaze, the 3000 block of Stafford. This is not far from where Butterfield Road meets Batavia Road. And Markham had a fire, which is near 159th Kedzie. The expressways had a lot of ramp closures on the Kennedy and the downtown area. The ramps have reopened. Also some work on 355 near Lake Street. Ramps have reopened there. No significant delays yet as the morning rush kicks into gear. Traffic service of LifeLock. No one wants to wake up to the news that they're the victim of identity theft, that malware is attacking their smartphone. That's why new LifeLock with Norton now includes protection for your identity and devices. Join at lifelock.com. Use promo code RISK to save an additional 10% off your first year. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Some clouds then clearing today with a high getting up to 81. For tonight, patchy clouds with a low of 60. Then tomorrow, sun and clouds with a high 82. Turning out to be a partly cloudy night, low 62. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
70 at O'Hare and along the lakefront, 67 this morning in Aurora. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, best beans, best roast, best coffee.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So has Rocket Man moved from a pejorative to a pet name? Donald Trump doing a exit interview with Clinton Foundation donor Zero yesterday.
It was fascinating.
In which he talked about the framework for denuclearization, not things very similar to what he said in the press conference after their meeting. But the interesting part about it for me was his discussion of sort of his personal feel and personal relationship with Kim Jong-un.
I think it's like a father-son relationship, don't you? Couldn't President Trump be the dad that Kim Jong-un never had?
Well, he did have a dad.
Well, but that doesn't mean his dad was there.
Oh, like
There's
a second
difference
father.
Between being a dad and a father.
Donald Trump is going to be present in Jong-un's life the way Jong-il was not.
He might get a Father's Day card this Sunday. That's what I was thinking. Now, and I know I have crazy thoughts, but I think there's something about those two that is very similar.
Well, Trump talking about Kim Jong-un, Rocket Man.
Rocket Man.
His little Rocket Man now.
He's just a little guy.
His people love him in North Korea.
His country does love him. His people, you see the fervor. They have a great fervor. They're going to put it together, and I think they're going to end up with a very strong country and a country which has people that they're so hardworking, so industrious. I think if you look at South Korea someday, maybe in the not too distant future, it will be something like that.
Well, his people love him because if they don't love him, they get sent to a gulag or worse.
Or they get killed in the town square, yeah.
But here's the thing about Trump, and it's still taking time for me to get used to this. And I don't want to rationalize that these over-the-top statements that I find unnecessary. But he's a different guy. You know, he is an acolyte of Norman Vincent Peale, power positive thinking. And for Trump, you know, it's always if somebody's kind of engaging me, if somebody is advancing my interests, if I think I'm going to make a good deal on behalf of myself or the interests I represent, then I'm going to be super over-the-top positive about them. And if they go on offense against me, then I'm going to come over the top on offense against them. And it's just weird to hear that in this context, but that's just how Trump is. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Just in terms of his personal characterization of Kim Jong-un, do you think Trump is forgetting who we're dealing with? Not just the generational despots in North Korea, but Kim Jong-un specifically, who is a murderous despot. Do you think he's forgetting?
I don't know if he's ever known or cared not to listen to the historical aspect of this, that Kim Jong-un had his top advisor killed. He had his uncle killed in a public, gruesome way. And people in his country are starving. Not to mention there's 5,300 remains of our soldiers that are still over in North Korea. And there are also South Koreans too, but that need to be brought back.
Right, and that was one of
the
statements of principle in the communique that
But President Trump, I mean, he is a real estate mogul for a reason. He is a billionaire,
right,
allegedly for a reason, because he's a hardlined, and then he kills you with flattery.
And because he inherited 10,000 properties from his dad.
That helps too.
There's no question. He
does things differently, and Kim Jong-un's different, President Trump's different, and then you throw in Dennis Rodman, and they're all a little different.
Trump addressing the question of, this is a statement of principle, this document. Okay. But how do you know, or what sort of intuition do you have that Kim Jong-un will honor the spirit of the document you both signed?
How do you trust him, though? Is he willing to change? Do you believe he's changed?
Well, over my lifetime, I've done a lot of deals with a lot of people, and sometimes the people that you most distrust turn out to be the most honorable ones, and the people that you do trust, they are not the honorable ones. So we are starting from a very high plane. We're starting from a very good relationship. This has been a very big day in terms of the world. I think it's been maybe, A lot of people are saying
We're
it's
all
historic.
calling it historic.
Yeah, even my enemies are calling it historic. And the fact is that we've done something that's very unique. Nobody's met with the family. Nobody at a high level.
No president has.
No president has, certainly. And we've done something that we're very proud of. It's a very strong document.
Right. Okay. It was a historic day. Historic is sort of value neutral, by the way. It's very much like compromise. These words that we throw around that we think should always have a positive connotation. Change. Sometimes change is bad. Sometimes change isn't. Well, hope is a positive word. But compromise, bad compromise, good compromise. Historic. We remember days that were historic, that were terrible days, as well as great days. And I think it's too early to tell, my personal opinion, on what kind of day that was yesterday. But the interesting, just his sort of personal, this personal issue of whether he trusts Jong-un and whether he's really interested to change. Trump went on because Stephanopoulos pressed him.
You trust him?
I do trust him, yeah. Now, will I come back to you in a year and you'll be interviewing? I'll say, gee, I made a mistake. That's always possible. So, we're dealing at a very high level. A lot of things can change. A lot of things are possible. He trusts me, I believe. I really do. I mean, he said openly, and he said it to a couple of reporters that were with him, that he knows that no other president ever could have done this. I mean, no other he knows the presidents. He knows who we had in front of me. He said no other president could have done this. I think he trusts me, and I trust him.
I hope he's not being bamboozled.
Is this Nixon to China? Too soon to tell, but it was.
Well, I've been very positive, and all day yesterday I was just touting his accomplishments, and people looked at me like I was absolutely crazy. All day long and all night long.
Well, I don't know
like,
why.
Everybody aren't you excited? He accomplished something today. He sat down, and everyone just kind of, It was just,
Well, that says something more about your social circle than it does about what happened yesterday. Because again, we know from the survey research that a overwhelming majority of both Americans and South Koreans thought it was a good idea for Trump to meet with Kim Jong-un because we're a hopeful people. We want peace. We want positive things to occur. So if there's a possibility to engage this dictator and get him to relinquish his nuclear weapons, then you should make the effort. That's the attitude of a majority, supermajority of both Americans and South Koreans. But there's a healthy skepticism, too. And I don't think those two things are mutually exclusive.
Well, when President Trump said even his enemies, were appreciative of what he accomplished, here's James Clapper.
We're in a much better place where we're on the diplomatic path as opposed to where we were, say, 6 or 8 months ago. So that's the only real solution here in my mind. But remember, Kim Jong-un is not term limited, and he's in it for the long game, and I think President Trump is more in it for the immediate self-gratification.
Yeah, well, and what American politician or president hasn't been?
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up, a big win for gun owners in Deerfield, and later, is God a male? But first, here's your forecast for today. Some clouds and sunshine. A high of 81, less humidity by this afternoon. That's a good thing. Tonight, patchy clouds, a low of 60. And tomorrow, for our golf outing, it's going to be sunny, some clouds, no rain in the forecast, a high of 82 degrees. You're golfing Medina today, aren't you? Or is that next week?
No, I am.
Or is that
today?
okay?
Yeah.
Is that what you're wearing?
Why are you stalking me? Weird.
I'm going to be there. I'm going to be your caddy. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Any traffic around Medina? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Right now, it's pretty quiet, as you'd expect at this hour. Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. Plainfield, we have a closure, though, of 59 southbound at 127th northbound. It's open. There's been a collision there, a semi and another vehicle. Eden's, the Kennedy, looking good. Express lanes are open now on the Kennedy. They've been closed for overnight work. Eisenhower still okay. Mount Stevenson, and a 3-minute delay, Cicero to Kedzie. Inbound Ryan, 3-minute delay, 18th into downtown. Bishop Ford, heavy starting at 111th. 22 minutes, 89 forward to the merge. Some outbound road work on the Ford before 130th Steel Bridge in the left lane. The other expressways and tollways for now are looking good. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. The rapid evolution of technology in industrial robotic automation systems offers a multitude of solutions that give manufacturers a competitive advantage
From ergonomics, quality control, and the need to meet increased production goals while improving the lives of everybody on the factory floor, industrial robotic automation can mean increased profitability and higher quality jobs. Matrix Industrial Automation has built a reputation as an industry leader in developing, building, and installing a wide range of turnkey robotic automation systems. Manufacturers big and small, local and worldwide, depend on Matrix to deliver the most optimal and robust industrial automation systems with improved ROI in mind. Nearly 2 decades of experience and hundreds of installed systems is why Matrix Industrial Automation, headquartered in Bartlett, Illinois, are the automation experts, the industrial automation experts. For information or to schedule a free automation consultation, visit matrixindustrialautomation.com or call 847-841-8260. That's matrixindustrialautomation.com.
Nowadays, there's an app for everything, and here's one that's a must-have if you golf. It's the Bolingbrook Golf Club mobile app, and it'll enhance your golf experience. You can book tee times at Bolingbrook Golf Club. There's an interactive scorecard, golf games, a GPS, latest news from the club, even a food and beverage menu, Facebook sharing, and more. Just about everything you need for your golf game besides the clubs is in the palm of your hand with the new Bolingbrook Golf Club mobile app. Go to bolingbrookgolfclub.com/contact/download our app. bolingbrookgolfclub.com/contact/download our app. And download today.
Are you ready to take your golf game to the elite level? The Bolingbrook Elite Athlete Training Program, or BEAT, is the highest level of training designed to maximize potential and develop highly skilled players. You'll learn from the Bolingbrook Golf Club's world-class instructors. They've designed practice schedules and content to maximize player development. For the athlete that aspires to compete and train at the highest levels, check out BEAT, Bolingbrook Elite Athlete Training. More info at bolingbrookgolfclub.com.
Hey, Chicagoland, Dan Proft here, and I'm here with my guy Ryan Kelly at thehomeloanexpert.com. He's one of us, and he just gets it. Ryan, great to talk to you again. Look, obviously home prices are going up, and homes are moving fast. Somebody's looking to sell their home in the Chicagoland area. What do?
Well, if you're looking to sell your house, I tell you, just kind of make up a price and put a for sale by owner sign out in the front yard, and you should have no problem selling that house. There's just not enough inventory. There's more buyers out there than there are sellers. But if you're thinking about buying a house, that's where you really better be on your A game. You better be pre-approved and pre-approved by a strong mortgage lender. At the Home Loan Expert Office, when we pre-approve you to buy a house, we go over your credit with you. We go over interest rates, payments, give you a good idea of what you should be looking for and what your price points are. And then we pre-approve you on a gold piece of paper. Literally, our pre-approvals are written on gold. And we send those to the agents. They know that you're ready to buy. Don't miss the house of your dreams. Get pre-approved today at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee.
Save more with Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Hey, what are you doing up here on the roof?
I want to tell the world I just met the woman of my dreams. What about you?
I want to tell the world that Liberty Mutual saved me $782.
Liberty did what?
They saved me $782.
Oh, you go first then. $782 really puts finding love into perspective.
Visit us online to get a quote, and you could save $782. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Based on a recent countrywide new customer survey, coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company, Equal Housing Insurer.
Visit CVS. It's buy one, get one at your neighborhood CVS pharmacy with thousands of products to discover and hundreds of ways to save. This week, feel your best for less with Nature's Bounty and CVS Health Vitamins BOGO free. And save big on beauty with Revlon, Maybelline, and L'Oreal BOGO 50% off. Restrictions apply. See cvs.com/weekly ad for details. Visit CVS.
AM 560, The Answer.
There it is. Dan and Amy, and we're talking about Trump's interview with Stephanopoulos yesterday after the historic day, his summit with Kim Jong-un. We also heard from Dennis Rodman again yesterday.
Isn't that his segment on its own? Has he stopped crying yet?
He was less emotional. He wasn't making any more sense from my perspective, but
did he have command of the English language?
These are different diplomatic times. Dennis Rodman remarking on the historic day, you have to have his review of it or it's not complete.
Well, because he's unique. He's friends with both men.
He is unique, and that's only one of the ways.
Well, I've said it from day one. I think the fact that people really didn't realize what I was actually going to North Korea for. I think people thought that what I was doing was more of a joke, more of a a stunt. I was just trying to spread the word, the fact that I was going over there, because I actually pretty much liked the guy. I liked the culture, and he gave me opportunity to get to know him.
Yeah, like the guy, like the culture. I like a country that's one big penal colony. I enjoy that. Rodman went on to say, he likes the guy, he likes the culture. Is dictator the right way to refer to Kim Jong-un?
I don't look at him as a dictator. I look at him as more like a person that really wants to try to blend in with the world. And I tried to invade that to people, but people looked at me like I was out of my mind. And I'm not trying to take the credit. I've always said that to everyone in the world. I said, if Trump wants the credit, he can take all the credit. He can have it all. I just want them to talk. And I said that with Obama, and Obama just pretty much blew me off. And they thought that I was a laughing stock. I didn't know what I was doing. And I kept trying to tell people that he really wants to talk. He really wants to try to connect with the world, especially America.
He's not a dictator. He's just a guy who wants to blend in with the world.
I told you he wants his country to be Americanized. Water slides,
yeah,
speedboats.
You and Rodman think that.
Automotive lines. Well, that was in the video yesterday, the trailer of what one world could be.
Well, it'll be interesting. I'm not sure at this stage this is the comeuppance Dennis Rodman thinks it is. Ed in Oak Brook, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
You know what? I don't think there's a chance in, where that those nukes are going to be given up. But what there is a chance of that, you keep referring to it as a penal colony, and it is, and I don't know the actual life, but I just imagine it. I think those people are going to get some kind of a relief, and I think that it's going to be a stabilizing factor in that region. And I feel like, Amy, that, you know what, I think only good is going to come from this, and there's going to be a lot of doubters out there. But you know what? It's a step, and nukes were thrown, and I don't think he's going to be doing testing anymore, which it has to be good for the environment. So I think this is all positive.
All right.
Anyway, have a nice day.
Thanks for the call, Ed.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, a hard lesson for anti-Trump Republicans. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
68 degrees. The time is 5:30, and President Donald Trump has returned from Singapore following his historic summit with Kim Jong-un. Air Force One landed this morning, with the president tweeting shortly thereafter that it was a long trip, but there is no longer a nuclear threat, said the tweet from North Korea. South Carolina Congressman and frequent Trump critic Mark Sanford is the loser in yesterday's Republican primary in that state. State lawmaker Katie Arrington got an Election Day Twitter boost from the president. But recall, Sanford is a failed governor who abandoned his post over an affair, was nearly impeached, and resigned in 2009. So it wasn't exactly the most popular person in South Carolina. In Virginia, Senator Tim Kaine will face Republican Corey Stewart in his bid for re-election in the fall. Kaine, who was Hillary Clinton's running mate in the 2016 election, was uncontested in the Democratic primary. North Dakota Democrat Senator Heidi Heitkamp will face a major challenge from a candidate President Trump recruited. Republican State Rep Kevin Cramer easily won the GOP nomination there. Maine holding its primary, new ranked choice voting system, allowing voters to rank every candidate in a race. In the primary for governor, the process appears to have left State Attorney General Janet Mills in a good position to come out on top, face off against Republican Sean Moody in November. Vice President Mike Pence on the move today, expected to speak at the annual meeting of the Southern Baptist Convention. An investigation is underway after shots were fired near a CTA Red Line station on Chicago's South Side. Police say a person was chasing another person last night in the first block of West 79th when he began shooting at him. No one was wounded, but bullets did spray into the entrance door at the 79th Street station. A retired Chicago police detective isn't saying much in a federal civil trial where he's accused of framing a man for 1988 murder. Reynaldo Guevara took the fifth more than 200 times on the federal witness stand at the Dirksen Federal Building yesterday. New lawyers who pass the bar in Illinois will soon have the opportunity to practice law in more states. Illinois is now the 30th state to adopt what's being termed the universal bar exam. Prospective lawyers will take the new test in Illinois for the first time next July. Brewers blanked the Cubs 4-0 in Milwaukee. White Sox defeat the Indians 5-1. The news, a service of LifeLock. No one wants to wake up to the news that they're the victim of identity theft or that malware is attacking their smartphone. That's why new LifeLock with Norton now includes protection for your identity and devices. Join at lifelock.com. Use promo code RISK to save an additional 10% off your first year. 5:33 is our time. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher says this is why you elected Donald Trump.
The president is correct in calling off the Eagles' White House visit, telling ungrateful, overpaid athletes that if you can't take a few minutes and not aggressively disrespect the national anthem and you don't want to go to the White House, then your team, including its owner and coaches, are certainly not welcome either. This is why you elected Donald Trump.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Get your truly free credit score and free credit monitoring from Credit Karma. Download the Credit Karma app today. Credit Karma. Get knowing.
Hey guys, Ken here from the Business Accelerator podcast, Today's Growth. If you had to choose a vehicle to take you up the rocky side of a mountain, would you choose a Ferrari or a Jeep? The Ferrari's faster, cooler, maybe even sexier, but if you have to get to the top, the Jeep's a better bet. I think we can agree getting to the top is not about the driver, it's the vehicle. Have you noticed people often pick their financial vehicle like they pick their cars? Washington Post shared that only 1 out of 4 people choose a job that uses their college degree. Why? Simple. Something more immediate, maybe cooler, maybe even sexier came along first. Shouldn't the main deciding factors for revenue generation be production or output? Should the cool factor have any weight in choosing someone's income? If getting to the top of the financial mountain is mission critical for you, why not add a few Jeeps to your garage? Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that makes it to the top every time? If so, you have to see the Jeeps lined up at incomestore.com. That's incomestore.com.
5:35. Check up the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. In Plainfield, southbound 59 is closed at 127th due to a crash. Edens is fine right now. Kennedy, too. On Eisenhower, got stop-and-go traffic Manheim to Des Plaines Avenue. It's 40 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 33, heavy Harlem to Des Plaines. Stevenson inbound delays from Lamont Road to Cass and Harlem to Kent. 42 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 5 to 34. On Ryan, 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57 still good. Bishop Ford, 22 minutes, 8094 is the merge. Tollways are fine. Northwest Indiana as well. Traffic, service of Discover Student Loans. Figuring out how to cover college costs? Discover Student Loans is one of the top private student loan lenders in the country. Great rates, zero fees. Plus students can earn a cash reward for their good grades. Visit discoverstudentloans.com to apply today. Discover Student Loans. Limitations apply. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Some clouds this morning, sunshine this afternoon, high of 81 in the western suburbs, cooler lakeside. Currently 70. Next news coming up at 6. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Lou Bridges Show. Get foreclosure defense solutions that may save your home. Saturday mornings at 8 on AM 560, The Answer.
When you've got questions, he always has an answer. It's Sean Hannity. This afternoon at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. It's his party, and he'll tweet if he wants to. President Trump on primary day in several states, including Virginia, South Carolina, Nevada, and some telling results about just how much the Republican Party is the party of Donald Trump at present, starting in South Carolina with Mark Sanford.
Yeah, Representative Mark Sanford, remember, former governor of South Carolina. You remember the story. He fell in love with a lady from Argentina. The problem was he was married.
I will be able to die knowing that I had met my soulmate. This was a whole lot more than a simple affair, but it's a love story.
It's a love story. Well, it cost him the governorship because nobody could find him. And he said, I'm hiking the Appalachian Trail when he was really with his lover in Argentina. Well,
how did that work out again?
You know what? It didn't work out. She did move out. He did get divorced, and he had 4 kids, and his wife is from the Chicago area, from Wilmette. She went to New Trier High School.
Jenny Sanford, right?
Yeah, and so those two didn't get back together. But the mistress, normally it doesn't work out, and it didn't work out in this case. So she came up here for a little bit. Now she's back in Argentina, and he's out of a job.
Well, he comes back in a special election for Tim Scott's congressional seat, right? So DeMint retires. Tim Scott gets elevated to the United States Senate. So there's a special election for Tim Scott's congressional seat, and it's like a 12-way primary. He, name ID and the swirl around him, but still, I guess, some good feelings about him.
And people are forgiving.
Well, but but remember, it was a 12-way primary in a special election. So I know there's a lot of coverage of this as Trump tweeted on Election Day, and that spelled the end of Mark Sanford, like it was a digital guillotine. Not exactly. This was somebody who was only able to make that comeback because of the unusual dynamics of that kind of crowded field. And then in the general election, for that special election, remember who he ran against?
I don't remember. Oh, the American Idol guy?
No, Clay Aiken?
Clay Aiken?
No. He was in another
North
seat.
Carolina.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Okay.
Stephen Colbert's sister.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Who was
That's
like,
right.
way left
Way
of where the
left.
district is. So he wins the general election. So I'm just saying, yes, Sanford has not been a Trump acolyte, and Trump tweeted about it. We'll get to that tweet in a second.
It's my favorite tweet.
But the idea that this tweet on Election Day was the proximate cause of Mark Sanford losing this primary challenge, I think is a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a hard lesson for anti-Trump Republicans because you're right. The Republican Party is becoming Trump fans. And President Trump, while he was on Air Force One coming back from Singapore, tweeted, Mark Sanford has been very unhelpful to me in my campaign in MAGA, Make America Great Again. He is MIA and nothing but trouble. He's better off in Argentina.
That's pretty funny.
I fully endorse Katie Arrington for Congress in South Carolina. She loves to say blah, blah, blah. She's tough on crime. And Mark Sanford didn't back down about, how he feels about President Trump during his concession speech last night.
It may have cost me an election in this case, but I stand by every one of those decisions to disagree with the president because I didn't think it, at the end of the day, was either concurrent with the promises I made when I first ran for office or the voices of the very people, the first district that I represent.
Well, interesting. That's an interesting race. And it's not a one-off either. In Virginia, the Republican primary to face Tim Kaine for United States Senate was won by Corey Stewart, who's a county supervisor's chairman in Virginia. And he's in a Trump sort of populist. It was a three-way primary. Former Green Beret Nick Freitas, who's more of kind of a libertarian Rand Paul type, and then E.W. Jackson, who was a Republican nominee for lieutenant governor back in 2013, finished third. It was a close race, but Stewart won. He actually, if you remember, he came within a point or two of beating Ed Gillespie in the primary for the Republican nomination for a governor last year.
Okay.
So it's just, it highlights. I mean, I don't want to spike the football here for Trump with respect to either Sanford or even Corey Stewart here, because I don't think it's really warranted. It's very much sort of the reverse of what's happening in Illinois. Jeannie Ives coming within 2 points of taking out an incumbent governor primary, which hasn't happened in this country in 40 years.
And Governor Rauner's an anti-Trumper.
There's division.
Mm-hmm.
There's division. There's not a kind of cohesive vision for what the Republican Party should be. There is on some issues, but there's division across the menu of issues that are reflective in terms of policy positions in the Republican Party platform. And so, it's really sort of, I think, race specific. I'll give you another example of this. Mitt Romney in Utah. Now, Trump has endorsed him for U.S. Senate.
Right, he has, yes.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean Utah Republicans have.
Oh, no. Please don't tell me anything's wrong with
Well,
that man.
this guy, Mike Kennedy, who's
agitator.
who's 20 years his younger. He is Mormon. He's an Eagle Scout. He's a state legislator, father of 8, physician, lawyer. I mean,
Okay, stop. That's enough already.
He cut.
You had me on father of 8.
Yeah, well, seriously, he cuts an attractive figure as a candidate. You figure this is a walk in Utah for Mitt Romney, right? Well,
oh, what's the polling?
It's not the polling. It's that in April, Kennedy surprised even himself. He beat Romney 51-49 among delegates to the Utah Republican Party convention. And so, Trump may have endorsed Romney out of political expediency at the outset of the announcement that Orrin Hatch was going to retire. But perhaps some Utah Republicans have not forgotten what Romney did during the presidential campaign. And there is a price to be paid for that. It's really interesting, the dynamic in terms of how much impact Trump's direction means in these races at the state level.
It's just surprising.
Even federal races at the state level.
The base of the Republican Party has aligned themselves with President Trump.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it's amazing. It's good. I mean, I'm happy.
Yeah, but understand something, too. It's not that amazing. The head of a party at the state level, meaning the governor or the highest ranking official, the president of the United States, he's going to drive the party, no matter who it is, until and unless he is so debilitated through unpopularity, bad policymaking, usually one is tied to the other, that he no longer has the standing that people want to run from him rather than to him. But, of course, the president of the United States is going to be the head of your party. That's always the case. So it's not that surprising. The bigger question is the kind of policy impact and then how that redounds at the local level.
But I thought President Trump was so provocative that mainstream Republicans, such as John McCain and Flake and all those...
Who says John McCain is a mainstream Republican? He does, maybe. Who says that?
Well, they're not. They've never aligned themselves with President Trump, and they're both. Leaving.
You think John McCain has any higher standing in the Republican Party in the country than Donald Trump does? I don't. Not close, in point of fact. So this is what I'm talking about. There are Trump detractors. There are never Trumpers. Oh, by the way, Jeff Flake retiring rather than face re-election. Bob Corker retiring rather than face re-election. That says something too. Ken in Lombard, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Morning, Dan and Amy. I wanted to give a perspective about Trump, since you used the word acolyte, which that's more in the context, in my mind, used in a religious sense, and there is some application of that, I think, for the always Trumpers, no matter what, because they love them so much. I get it. But I'll give you an example. Oh, by the way, since we mentioned Eagle Scouts, I'm one also, 1974, so I'll give you that perspective.
All right.
I reluctantly sent Donald Trump campaign contribution because I was not thrilled about the two choices, but nevertheless, it's a matter of survival. Next time, I will gladly send him twice as much money, and I will do it enthusiastically not because I'm an acolyte, because I'm warming up to him because he's actually getting work done.
Yeah.
And he's also, might not get 100% of what I want, but at the end of the day or the end of the term, if I get 75% of what I want, guess what? I'm a happy camper.
Yeah, look, I think that's a fair point, and I think that's a good description of what's happening among a lot of Trump skeptics and why you see his numbers on the rise, Ken. Thanks for the call. I appreciate that. I think that's a very fair perspective. Tom in Deer Park.
Hi, good morning, Dan and Amy. With the loss of Mark Sanford down in South Carolina yesterday, who was probably the most conservative member of Congress based on his voting record, and the previously mentioned rejection, if not ejection, from conservative politics of guys like Flake and Corker, it's painfully obvious to everybody and anybody that there's no more room for conservatism in the Republican Party. If you want to be in the Republican Party, you're going to show fealty and loyalty to one man, which is authoritarianism. So my question, Dan, is do you think that there's a viable place, possibly a third party, where conservatively inclined members can give the electorate a place to go and not have to support legislators that are afraid to speak out and that only show fealty and loyalty to one man, and that man being Donald Trump, and not any ideology or policy.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Tom. I mean, look, Mark Sanford was an embarrassment. He is not the most conservative member of Congress. He was more of a libertarian. He was more of a Rand Paul sort of member of Congress. So that's not true. I reject the premise that you have to show fealty or you will be excommunicated from the party. I also reject the premise that these are like great conservatives that are being drummed out of the party like Jeff Flake. Look at Jeff Flake's voting record. Listen to what he has to say. Read some of the excerpts, if you can stomach it, of his book. At minimum, just read some excerpts. This is he is a version of what we have way too much of in Illinois, which is surrender Republicans. The person who can't wait to make a deal with the other side to advance their flag, surrender on this issue so I can set up my surrender on the next issue. There are conservatives who disagree with Trump on immigration. There's the House Freedom Caucus. Jim Jordan's not a conservative. Mark Meadows is not a conservative. They agree with Trump when they agree with him. They don't agree with him when they don't agree with him. You've had conservatives that have been, including myself, critical of him with respect to protectionist inclinations on trade. Totally disagree with that. So, no, I don't think so. I just don't think there's some kind of authoritarian takeover of the Republican Party. What I think is that the President of the United States is always going to be the head of the party he represents.
And as for Mark Sanford, we don't know what he's going to do next, but maybe he could get the girl back.
Don't cry for me, Argentina.
And so oddly enough, I spent the last 5 days of my life crying in Argentina.
The truth is I never left you.
I've been unfaithful to my wife.
All through my wild days.
I developed a relationship with what started as a dear, dear friend from Argentina.
My mad existence.
It began very innocently, as I suspect many of these things do, but here recently, over this last year, it developed into something much more than that.
I kept my promise.
I've let down a lot of people. That's the bottom line.
Don't keep your distance.
I mean, I'm here and she's there.
Don't cry for me, Argentina.
I tell you what.
That press conference ruined Mark Sanford for me, much like Madonna ruined Evita for me.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
That's Dot. She's here to greet me after a long day. She's the only one who wants to be near me when I'm sick. She's my best friend. Thanks to folks like South Suburban Humane Society, Dot went from living on the street to a dog that wears clothes. Yep, I'm that guy. So how did I get so lucky? Before I met Dot, I spent time at South Suburban. Giving to a nonprofit isn't always about giving money or donating food and supplies, although that's appreciated too. South Suburban Pets just want your love. We encourage you to come by the facility, take a dog for a walk, play with Dot's cat friends, or even foster a pet to keep your flexibility. If you're interested in how you can volunteer or donate, visit them at southsuburbanhumane.org. That's right, Dot. South Suburban is a 501c3, which means all donations are tax deductible for individuals and businesses. Text DONATE to 708-866-0065 or visit southsuburbanhumane.org. South Suburban Humane Society, creating a better world for pets and their people.
Love to follow that fine read. Hey, looking to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing home? Then you need to do what I did and call the most honest lender in the mortgage business, Team Hochberg. You know, supporting veterans is Team Hochberg's passion. That's why they support Veteran Roasters. It's a Chicago coffee roaster with great coffee that hires homeless and chronically unemployed veterans. If you would like to help create jobs for homeless veterans, visit veteranroasters.com and purchase a 12-ounce bag of coffee ground by once homeless and unemployed veterans. The coffee's delicious, and the profits are reinvested in hiring additional homeless veterans. Use promo code Team Hochberg to save 50% off the second bag you purchase. Veteran Roasters, they were on the ground for us, so you should buy these grounds for them. Hey, and if you are a veteran securing a VA loan, work with a lender who supports veterans. That lender is Team Hochberg. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but they can't help you if you don't call. 312-751-1333. For straightforward, honest advice, do what I did. Call Team Hochberg, 312-751-1333, or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee, 4358 NMLS 19186.
A good parking lot is essential to a good building and a good business.
This is Kevin Berquist. My company is SKC Construction, home of GreatParkingLots.com. Great parking lots. The name says it all. We make your parking lot great. We are an industry leader in seal coating. You can trust our company to do the work for your company. We have the same traditional values as you. We use a process and application that makes sure you get a great job that lasts a long time. I guarantee you'll have a good experience. Check it out, greatparkinglots.com.
Go to greatparkinglots.com. Schedule a free inspection and get a quote to make your parking lot a great parking lot. Special early season discounts if you act now. Save the expense. Fix, don't replace. Contact SKC Construction now for commercial parking lot seal coating and maintenance. SKC Construction, home of greatparkinglots.com. greatparkinglots.com.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. Everything big city Dem mayors like Rahm Emanuel do is for the kids, they tell us with ersatz earnestness. Rahm, Tiny Dancer, I call him, is quick to take up cause celebs like the Parkland High School Gun Control Brigade in the name of school safety. What Rahm and his leftist colleagues won't do is change school systems run by the adults for the adults, even when some of those adults are child predators. In a blockbuster expose, the Chicago Tribune documented a long-running sex abuse scandal inside the Chicago public schools that should end Tiny Dancer's career, should be international news on par with the coverage given the Catholic Church's scandal, and that should serve as a warning to public school parents across the country. According to the Tribune, since Tiny Dancer was elected in 2011, 430 reports of sexual abuse have been investigated, with credible evidence of misconduct found in 230 of those incidents. Worse yet, the story identified repeated failures to screen out Chicago public schools employees with prior arrests related to alleged sexual offenses involving children. A lot of attention is devoted to holding Pauls and their appointees accountable for threats to kids in school that come from the outside. What about the threats they welcome inside and cover for?
Thinking about life insurance? What if you could make one free phone call and learn your best price from nearly a dozen highly rated, price-competitive companies? Well, that's exactly what happens when you call SelectQuote Life. For example, George is 40. He was getting sky-high quotes from other companies because he takes meds to control his blood pressure. But when I shopped around, I found him a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $25 a month. I'm SelectQuote agent Dan Savino. And believe me, if SelectQuote isn't shopping for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 800-613-7416. That's 800-613-7416. 800-613-7416. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Or price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Make sure to check out the Income Store live video stream of today's show right now at 560theanswer.com.
5:57. Let's get an update on the roads this early morning. In the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The Aidance is looking fine at this hour with no significant delays yet. It's heavy on the inbound Kennedy from 190 to Foster. It's 24 minutes either way between O'Hare and downtown. Outbound to the Lawrence to Sayre. About Eisenhower, stop and go Wolf to Des Plaines Avenue after a crash. 48 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 35. Bound Stevenson, 50 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Orion, 24 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 16 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop 423. Northbound Tri-State a little tight now. Reagan tollway to the Eisenhower. The other tollways look good. Northwest Indiana as well. Traffic Service of LifeLock. No one wants to wake up to the news that they're the victim of identity theft or that malware is attacking their smartphone. That's why new LifeLock with Norton now includes protection for your identity and devices. Join at lifelock.com. Use promo code RISK to save an additional 10% off your first year. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues after a full update from Fox News and your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Let's get the latest with meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, some clouds, then sunshine, high 81. Tonight, patchy clouds, low 60. Sun and clouds tomorrow, high 82. Partly cloudy night, low 62. Periods of sun Friday, high 86. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
Currently 70 at O'Hare, the news service of Discover Student Loans. Figuring out how to cover college costs, Discover Student Loans. It's one of the top private student loan lenders in the country. Great rates, zero fees. Plus, students can earn a cash reward for their good grades. Visit discoverstudentloans.com to apply today. Limitations apply. 5:59, and here are the stories we're following this morning on AM 560. The Answer: a judge halting enforcement of Deerfield's ban on assault weapons 1 day before it was due to take effect. 11 recovering following a severe car crash on Chicago's far south side near 122nd and Ashland. An investigation continues after a shootout at a suburban mall in Bloomingdale. Northern Illinois man convicted of beating and stabbing his girlfriend to death and hiding her body in a closet has been sentenced to 60 years in prison by a DeKalb County judge. The U.S., Canada, and Mexico will host the 2026 World Cup. News from the FIFA Congress just seconds ago. Brewers blanked the Cubs 4-0, while the White Sox defeated the Indians 5-1. 70 at O'Hare. More Dan and Amy after Fox. WIND Chicago News Time, 6 o'clock.
He's back and tweeting a lot. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. President Trump landed about 90 minutes ago, then wrote, "A long trip, but everyone can now feel much safer than the day he took office. Sleep well tonight. There's no longer a North Korean nuclear threat." This after his meeting with Kim Jong-un.
He's got a very good personality. He's funny, and he's very, very smart. He's a great negotiator. And he's a very strategic kind of a guy.
President telling Fox's Sean Hannity they made a lot of progress getting North Korea to denuclearize. Many Democrats, though, were critical. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer called it a photo op.
No details about how the United States might verify that North Korea has disarmed when they've repeatedly lied in the past.
The president also tweeted, "Congratulations to the Republican who defeated a GOP congressman critical of him in a primary." Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, it was a big night for supporters of President Trump. In South Carolina, State Representative Katie Arrington beat incumbent Republican Congressman and former Governor Mark Sanford.
We are the party of President Donald J. Trump.
In Virginia, immigration hardliner Corey Stewart won the Republican Senate primary and will take on Democratic Senator and former vice presidential candidate Tim Kaine. In Virginia's 10th congressional district, which went for Hillary Clinton in 2016, Jennifer Wexton won the Democratic primary and will challenge Republican Barbara Comstock this fall. Dave?
Rachel, there are reports of shots fired at police in North Braddock, Pennsylvania, near Pittsburgh last night as officers responded to a possible abduction. One officer was grazed by a bullet and another suffered a head injury. Soccer's World Cup is coming to America and to our neighbors north and south.
Canada, Mexico, and USA have been selected by the FIFA Congress to host the 2026 FIFA World Cup.
That announcement a few minutes ago. This year's World Cup starts tomorrow in Russia. Fox News, fair and balanced.
On AM 560, The Answer. Your opinion counts. And we want to know how you feel about the news stories we're talking about each and every day. Make sure to vote in the M13 Graphics Opinion Express poll at 560theanswer.com. Listen for today's poll question at 10:30 a.m., 12:30 p.m., and 3:30 p.m. And hear the results each evening at 5:30. It's the M13 Graphics Opinion Express poll on 560theanswer.com.
All money managers may seem pretty much the same. But while some money managers may recommend high commission investment products, Fisher Investments avoids them. Some money managers may have hidden and layered fees. Fisher Investments never does. And while some money managers are happy to earn commissions from you, whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're structured to be on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come to us from other money managers. Talk with us and find out why so many experienced investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments, clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
The warmth of sun is here for you to enjoy the great outdoors. Feel like an instant getaway with a beach vibe and fun for the entire family? There's a place nearby you're going to want to check out. Bridges Waterside Grill and Bridge Inn in Michigan City, Indiana. Bridge Inn is the perfect place for your Lake Michigan escape. Amazing attractions like the Uptown Arts District, boutique shopping, beaches, the zoo, casino, and museums are all in walking distance. Bridge Inn offers year-round lodging, but you can take in the sunshine at the Bridges Waterside Grill through September. Grab a cocktail and dine on fish tacos, burgers, and wraps with lots of vegetarian and seafood options. Book one of 14 suites at Bridge Inn before summer sells out. Bridges is located near the rotating train bridge on the Trail Creek waterfront in the heart of Michigan City. Don't visit Michigan City without stopping by the Bridge Inn and Bridges Waterside Grill. For more info and availability, visit bridgeinnmc.com. That's bridgeinnmc.com.
Every business needs great people, and the better way to find them. Something better than posting your job online and just praying for the right people to see it. ZipRecruiter revolutionized hiring. Their technology finds great candidates for you. No wonder 80% of employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day. Goodbye post and pray. Hello ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Try it for free today at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
I'm Devin. I deliver sandwiches for Jimmy John's.
Freaktown! Population Devin.
We'll deliver one sandwich,
minimum freak,
or hundreds of sandwiches.
Infinity Freak!
However many you want.
You're mayor of Freaktown, Devin! Freaky fresh, freaky fast, Jimmy John's, freak yeah!
I'm Tammy. I get to Jimmy John's early every day.
Freak-a-doodle-doo!
To bake bread fresh.
Freak-a-doodle-do!
And we keep on baking throughout the day, so it's always fresh for our customers. That's all.
Doodaloo, freak-a-doo! Freaky fresh, freaky fast, Jimmy John's, freak yeah!
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Money Hour radio show, Saturday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer. Brought to you by Pearshell Financial Group.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. The problem in Illinois, whether it's sexual harassment in Springfield or sexual abuse in CPS, it's a few bad apples.
Oh, yeah.
It's a few bad apples. You don't hold the party in power responsible. You don't hold the individual people at the top of the hierarchy responsible. Is that right? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. I ask because that's what Tiny Dancer says. And remember, he is the representative of Chicago values, so who am I to question his take on this important moral questions, sexual harassment in Springfield, sexual abuse in CPS.
I mean, he rose to the defense of Mike Madigan. Just listen what he had to say during this press conference. A question coming from a CBS national reporter.
You're not going to find a solution to a problem if you try to personalize it around one person. In all due respect, I'm taking a question from a CBS reporter. You had a national reporter that had a problem. Do I say that don't want CBS because you had a national problem? I think it's really, in all due respect, Karen, really an antiquated, out-of-date way of thinking about it.
Oh, yeah. It's so you can't blame one person.
So because Charlie Rose was behaving badly, that doesn't impugn all of CBS, just as because you had reported by the Tribune 230 incidents of sexual abuse, harassment, misconduct that were substantiated by the city's legal department. That doesn't impugn Tiny Dancer, CPS, the administrative hierarchy.
Yeah.
Huh.
Mayor Emanuel's the big boss, and no, it's not his problem.
He also was asked about the sexual harassment culture, and that seems to be pervasive in Springfield generally and in House Speaker Mike Madigan's office specifically, and whether or not that the continuing drip, drip, drip of drips in Madigan's office being outed. Can I say that I 100% reject the question? I think it's a really bad way to look at it when he was asked whether women voters in Illinois might be less inclined to vote for Democrats because of all of the allegations of sexual harassment emanating from Madigan's office, resulting in the dismissal of several aides, including his chief of staff last week. So, no, can't hold Madigan and Democrats responsible. He's the head of the state party, the state Democrat Party. He's the longest-serving state House Speaker in U.S. history. He's the undisputed most powerful politician in Illinois. You can't hold him responsible. You can't hold Democrats responsible for their leadership. You can't do that.
No.
You can't hold the leadership of the city responsible for what's happening at CPS, what's happened and happening at CPS. You can't do that.
Covering up teachers as if, how the Catholic Church was covering up abusive priests, just shifting them to other schools, having them go to other states and not even giving background information about that teacher.
There's a lot of blame, of blame to go around.
Not his problem.
The real, right.
Not my problem.
No. Remember what he said. All adults offer apology, and I offer my apology. But the question is, what are we going to do now besides words? Enough with your words assigning blame. Enough with your words of accountability. Those words have no place here. What are the deeds to fix this up? Maybe we could change out personnel. I take responsibility like Janice takes responsibility to do this. My point is, if you have a suggestion for how to tighten something up, offer that. Yeah, so if you don't have any constructive suggestions with respect to electing Democrats, how to better do it, or with respect to the CPS sex abuse scandal, how to better protect Rahm's reputation, then why don't you just keep your mouth shut?
And Janet Jackson, what's her name? Janice Jackson.
Janice Jackson, Miss Jackson, if you're nasty.
She's playing the mom card by all these email blasts to parents. Like, as a mother, I have 2 kids in CPS, and their safety is our number one concern, and blah, blah, blah. Saying that that's going to help us. And
doesn't seem like it's our number one concern.
5-point plan of how they're going to, better scrutinize teachers by randomly selecting teachers who are already in the system for background checks. Whereas if you're a volunteer, you have to go through a background check before you can even walk through the doors of CPS.
Well,
why not test all the teachers?
Well, is Rahm right? Is the little guy right?
The little fella. And did he move into his little house?
Yeah. How's the construction of the Shire going? Is he right though that hey. The sexual harassment endemic in Springfield and in Madigan's office specifically, as we've learned over the last several weeks. Hey, you can't hold Democrats responsible for that, nor should you. That would be unfair to hold rank-and-file Democrats responsible for it, or even the leadership. And what's happened in CPS, the revelations of systemic sexual abuse of students, hey. You can't hold Democrats responsible for that either. Not the leadership, not the rank and file. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Why so quiet? Let's hear from you. At least I'd like to hear from Democrats, too. Why don't you just admit that you're not interested in holding anybody accountable? And I can see the point that we don't do a very good job in the Republican Party holding people accountable either. Who agrees with Rahm, though? I'll tell you this. Our friend Kristen McQuarrie opined on the topic yesterday in the Tribune. Our 2 United States senators, Saka Durbin and Tammy Duckworth, they issued a missive demanding accountability and transparency in CPS in the wake of the Tribune expose on the sex abuse inside the school system. But Kristen noted that something was missing from those communiques. No mention of Tiny Dancer.
Oh.
Only a vague flick, as she writes, at the need for greater intervention at the local level for the chronic sexual abuse they called horrifying. She goes on to say, she goes on to point out how often Durbin and Duckworth are willing to wade into local matters to tell Rauner to do something or to not do something. But here, it's hands off with Tiny Dancer. And she makes the same point that John Cass made when this scandal broke. Essentially, number one, if Rahm wasn't the mayor, if he was just the parent of kids in CPS, he would be the first one saying the mayor's accountable. The first one. Number two, McQuarrie writes, Emmanuel owns this because the mayor of the city, no matter who it is, controls the schools. That's the way the system is designed. It's why proposals to switch to an elected CPS school board get buried in Springfield. This is exactly the way Emmanuel wants it. This is the system that they set up. This is how they want the system set up, but they're not accountable for what the system produces. Why? Because we don't hold people accountable in the city and state. And so what Durbin and Duckworth are doing and giving Tiny Dancer a pass is being smart, is playing smart politics, right? They know that we, the people in Chicago and Illinois, we don't hold the principal actors within the state's power structure accountable for what they do. We don't. So if we're not going to hold them accountable, then it's real easy. Rahm, you pursue your ambitions and feed your appetites how you see fit. We'll do the same. Live and let live, regardless of the repercussions. Because why not?
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. 64636, type in DA, then a quick comment.
And by the way, this also applies at the operative level. One of the Madigan staffers who was bounced after allegations of sexual harassment
Which
surfaced,
one?
Sean DeCreamer.
I hate his last name. I told you I don't want to hear that name. I don't want to hear about Creamy Bob or Creamer.
Well, it's not. Yeah, I know. It's because it calls to mind Creamy Bob, the convicted felon husband of Calamity Jan Schakowsky.
Sure, how's their relationship going? They look like a happy couple.
So DeCreamer,
Yes, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm.
He's a lobbyist in Springfield. He was removed from Madigan's political organization in February after he was accused of inappropriate behavior toward a candidate and staff during the 2016 election. He lost some contracts after the allegations surfaced, most notably ComEd, but he recently gained at least one new client, lobbying client in Illinois.
Who's that?
The NBA.
The NBA.
The National Basketball Association. The NBA is a client. Boy, I'd love to talk to all those virtue signaling athletes and owners in the NBA. DeCreamer's previous clients, Bowl and Britain Consulting Group, I think we should name names. Citgo Petroleum Corporation, International IBEW 134, the Electricians Union.
Of course.
He did maintain a total of at least 15 clients, according to the Secretary of State's index. DraftKings, FanDuel, Major League Baseball, and now he's got the NBA. How about
that? Has a connection to Mike Madigan by any chance?
Yeah.
I think his relationship with Mike Madigan helped him with that clientele list.
How about that? Boy,
looky here.
DraftKings, FanDuel, Major League Baseball, the NBA. When will he get the NFL? Boy, in this era, this Me Too era, boy, I'd love to hear from the front offices and the league offices of those professional sports leagues.
They're rewarding his bad behavior.
And let me tell you what the rumors, one of the things he did.
Oh, yeah. I love rumors.
So this is a great example of the culture here. So the candidate that was referenced that he harassed is Deb Conroy.
Oh.
She's a state rep from eastern DuPage County.
Democrat?
Democrat.
Okay.
And she's, a wholly owned subsidiary of Madigan. She relies completely on him for financing her campaigns. Here's what he allegedly did to her. This is a rumor. This hasn't been out there. This Sean DeCreamer, he's a Madigan operative.
Okay. Let's
He
just Sean.
picked her up, threw her over his shoulder, and spanked her for not walking enough. She's a state legislator.
For not walking enough?
Yeah, you're not walking precincts enough. Not getting out and
Like,
walking.
you bad girl, get over here.
Yeah.
And he lifts her up and spanks her on her butt.
State legislator. Deb Conroy's reaction was to not want to say anything. She got kind of pulled into
this Me Too movement,
the conversation. Yeah. She didn't want to say anything. She hasn't broken bad
I've
on
seen
Madigan.
Her try to run from
She's tried to
reporters
two-step because she doesn't want to talk about DeCreamer. She doesn't want to talk about Madigan. She just wants her campaign cash for 2018. That's how sick this culture is. That she will
She's
defile
making it worse
herself.
yeah, okay.
She will defile herself for the campaign cash to keep her phony baloney job where she gets paid $70,000 plus she's near vesting for a pension plus the health insurance and all the bennies for somebody who, let me tell you,
Who lifts her up over their shoulder and spanks her on the butt.
yeah, and she, like so many in Springfield, they're not exactly running around getting a lot of 6 and 7 figure offers to do anything in the private sector. The best they can do to make more money than they're making now is be in Springfield long enough to flip around and become another Sean DeCreamer and represent some rent-seeking business interests. I mean,
I don't know how you live with yourself after
state
that.
legislator, Madigan operative / lobbyist. If that's true, and I have very good reason to believe it is, but again, it's just a rumor, as I've said.
Well, have 2 sources told you about it? And it's true.
Does that bring it home to you? Does that bring it home to you?
She's selling her soul to the devil.
Greg in Rogers Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Morning. I just think, first of all, I want to say I think the local media in Chicago has not covered the sexual abuse by the Chicago public school employees that well. I think you
Except for the
guys
Tribune.
have done a great job, but the others have given a pass to it or protect a tiny dancer. But more importantly, just as much as you see that movement, which I disagree with, to take away our Second Amendment rights with gun control, people need to step out and protest vigorously against the sexual abuse that's going on in our schools, and there should be outrage by the parents, and they should be sticking up for these kids rather than trying to protect these politicians. And until there's that kind of outrage in the streets with protesting and major media coverage, it's not going to change.
Thanks for the
And
call,
these aren't,
Greg.
this isn't just Simeon and other, school. This is Walter Payton Prep.
Yeah.
Where a teacher who was at Lincoln Elementary and middle school moved from there and was allowed to go to Walter Payton, a selective enrollment school that everyone wants to get into, and molested girls there. I mean, come on. And they knew what he was doing in Lincoln Elementary, and the information didn't get transferred over. It's exactly like the priest abuse sex scandal.
Well, I mean, no, number one, they're not doing proper background checks at the front end because they're allowing people with past arrests, including those associated arrests that are related to child sex offenses, into the school system. Number two, they're not living up to their legal reporting requirements. They're required.
And in their
required to tell DCFS about complaints or incidents of abuse they know, and they didn't do that.
But even their immediate improvements, what they blasted out to parents, CPS will begin conducting background checks for current employees on a periodic basis.
Yeah.
On a periodic basis.
The period is before you hire them. Mike on the north side.
Good morning. Thanks for taking my call. As far as the spanking goes, that went on a lot when you two were in Mexico and Bruce and Sean were in. I couldn't even watch it online anymore.
I don't want to think about
that. It was terrible. But these kids don't vote. These kids don't make political contributions. Are they really important to the Democrats?
They're only important. They're only important as mascots. They're important for photo ops.
Well, here, Amy, I hope you're sitting down for this one. Aramark, the company that supplies the janitors and the cafeteria workers and a lot of extra help, no background checks, no drug tests. And they even brag about that on their recruiting posters.
Thanks for the call, Mike. Candace in DuPage.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. I don't see what the contrast is, though, with Lori Lightfoot, who's running for mayor against Rahm. I mean, I haven't heard her say anything about, background checks, or I haven't heard her say anything against the teachers union. I don't think she would dare. So, I mean, I don't see that she's going to win.
Well, she was on our show on Friday. I mean, she did take out after Rahm more aggressively than any of the other candidates on this issue. I mean, is she gonna break on the teachers union? Probably not. I don't see that. But she is breaking bad on Rahm.
Yeah, but I don't understand. Why is it so controversial to have a background check for all teachers? And why can't the president get involved in something like that and make that an executive order?
Well, are you guys,
why isn't that law?
Well, are you ready for this? It goes on to say,
Thanks for the call, Candace.
Illinois State Police and Chicago Police Department and other agencies, we want them to notify CPS when an existing employee is accused or convicted of a crime.
Right.
You think they're going to just fess up? Oh, where do you work? CPS. They don't have to tell them where they work when they get arrested. I mean, it might come out in court, but that if they bond out, they'll still be in school next to the kiddies.
Well, that's not the challenge. The challenge is on the front end, and then on the process end when you're made aware of an incident and you're an administrator or principal. That's where the failures. I mean, there's failures because it's systemic. Failures at the front end, failures in the middle, and then just the general failure that is CPS, despite the agitprop to the contrary that you see from Rahm's financiers. Lewis in Dayton, Texas.
Hey, good morning, Danny. How you doing today?
Good.
I agree with you, Dan. I think that Rahm Emanuel should take responsibility. And one of the examples I want to put out there is the NFL. These players were kneeling and doing making this issue, and a lot of people had an outcry. And the NFL, maybe reluctantly, but they did respond and they did something about it. And regardless whether they want to or not, they stepped up and they put an issue. I think when you become a manager or you take a certain responsibility, regardless of what it is, you have to own the people that are under you. And I think Rahm needs to do that. The other thing is I'm a little concerned and shocked, and maybe you can answer that for me, Dan, is so why is it the people of the city aren't making more of an uproar about this issue that's going on, especially with children? I mean, they live in the city. It affects them directly. Why are they not making an issue about Rahm Emanuel? They seem to make a big issue about things out of the other states and, things that don't affect them directly. But when this is affecting them, their children, and their lives, it seems like it's just kind of put on the back burner. And, oh, well.
It's a great observation, Lewis. Thanks for the call.
There's not a lot of love for Rahm Emanuel. I will tell you that, even among my liberal friends.
Yeah, I understand, and for a lot of reasons. But Lewis's question of why, why aren't they more outraged? Why isn't there more accountability? Why isn't there more activism? Is a great question. It's the $100,000 question, and
because our kids go to school in these places, and honestly, I don't think they want the bad reputation.
So you'll try and prop up the reputation of CPS by exposing your kids to the threat of sexual abuse?
Not me personally, but they don't want the negative publicity.
Well, I'll tell you, if that...
I don't care. I say expose it all.
If there's any truth to that, it just confirms what I've said for many years now, which is there is a virulent strain of Stockholm Syndrome that afflicts this city. Virulent. And what A.G. Liebling said about Chicago 60 years ago, the most thoroughly corrupt city in America is Chicago. The most thoroughly corrupt. It's an interesting way to say it. That was 60 years ago he said it. Which direction do you think we've gone since then? People are numb to it. People are complicit because they're on the dole, or somebody in their family, familial or social circle is, and so it's a kleptocratic protection racket, and they're willing to tolerate all kinds of atrocities. It's remarkable.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning knows how miserable it feels when your AC goes out. You want it fixed fast, fixed right, and get a fast quote. Unlike some companies, we don't give you a quote until we actually see what the problem is. Then we'll give you our straightforward price and always stand by our work. Right now, get savings on any AC repair. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Hey, I've told you about the MyPillow mattress topper. It has 3 unique layers of comfort. It supports your body weight, helps relieve pressure points, and keeps your body temperature regulated all night, not too hot or too cold. But don't wait to get yours, because in June, you can save 30%. Plus, when you buy a mattress topper at a discount, you can also get 2 free standard MyPillows. Yes, this is an unreal offer. 2 standard MyPillows free and 30% off that mattress topper. Or get 1 low price on 2 MyPillows and receive free shipping. But you have to use the promo code Amy. 10-year warranty, 30-day money-back guarantee. So go online or call now for these great deals and others, including 30% off those pet beds. I'd snatch those up. They have amazing sheets and more. Find it all at MyPillow.com. And when you purchase a product, type Amy in that promo code, MyPillow.com, or call 800-489-0201.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule. I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. I went from being able to work 14, 16 hours a day with no problem to where I could barely walk a block to the store. I went on to the phytonutrients about 6 months ago, and within a couple of months, my medical doctor had cut my prescriptions down in a little bit smaller dosage. The next time I went back a month later, I walked into the doctor's office and he says, "My gosh, what's happened to you? You don't even look like the same person." He looked at my legs and the swelling had gone down. My blood pressure was down. The venous stasis ulcers that I had had on my legs for the last 4 or 5 years because of the poor circulation were all healed, and I'm feeling far better.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
If you're a business owner, listen up. We know you've experienced your fair shares of emergencies, and they always seem to happen at the worst time. So wouldn't it be nice to have someone around to watch your back, on call 24/7? Well, you can do that with Turnkey IT. It's available for your business's IT and computer systems. With a support agreement, Turnkey IT will keep your computer systems online and running with no worries. If an emergency does pop up, Turnkey IT is prompt and responsive without charging an enormous after-hours rate. The certified pros at Turnkey proactively keep your business computer systems online with remote and on-site support. And right now, for a limited time, you can save up to $500 a month on a support contract, plus unlimited cloud backup at no cost. Enjoy the secure feeling of your network being supported by Turnkey IT 24/7. Visit turnkey.pro. That's turnkey.pro.
Wildfires, hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, a crashing economy. Are you ready? At best, your local stores have a 3-day supply of food. Will your family have to fight over what's left? Be wise and be ready with 25-year shelf life Wise Food Storage. Try it free. Order a no-obligation free sample meal, and for a limited time, get a 10% discount and free shipping on all orders. Call for your free sample now. 800-787-1010. 800-787-1010.
AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up next, a big win for gun owners in Deerfield, and then...
Is it time to eat the rich? We'll discuss at 6:36.
Oh, I'm hungry, and you're hangry. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Dozens, including some children, discovered in a tractor trailer in San Antonio. 70 degrees at 6:30 on AM 560. The Answer. KSAT Television is reporting that authorities from several agencies were called to the north side of San Antonio around 8:30 last night. They found 55 people suspected of all entering the country illegally in a tractor trailer. Homeland Security continues to investigate this, and a spokeswoman confirms the agency is helping San Antonio Fire go through those found in the tractor trailer. All appear to be in good health, and the trailer was air-conditioned. President Trump is posting a victory tweet as he returns from his historic summit in Singapore with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Shortly after Air Force One touches down, the president tweets, "Just landed a long trip. Everyone can now feel safer." Speaker Paul Ryan says he'll bring 2 immigration bills before the House next week. It's an effort to stop a bipartisan plan to force a vote on DACA, the Obama-era rules that protect young immigrants brought to the U.S. illegally as children. Fired former FBI Director Andrew McCabe is filing suit against the Bureau and the Justice Department for refusing to turn over documents dealing with his termination. A proposal that would split California into 3 separate states will be on the November ballot. Carrying the California namesake would be 6 counties on the coast from Monterey south to L.A. November's midterm elections continue to loom, and the security of those elections is on congressional radar this week.
We were unaware that Russia was sowing division through mass propaganda, cyber warfare, and working with malicious actors to tip scales of the election.
In a Senate hearing yesterday, California Democrat Dianne Feinstein cited Russia's attempt at interference in the 2016 election. Tesla laying off thousands of workers in an effort to turn a profit. The CEO, Elon Musk, confirming that about 9% of the electric car maker's workforce, about 4,000, would be given pink slips. An investigation continues after shots were fired near a CTA Red Line station on Chicago's South Side. A judge is halting enforcement of Deerfield's ban on assault weapons. It came yesterday, one day before it was due to take effect. A new book released by the Chicago Crime Commission reveals new information about street gangs in the Chicago area. The commission estimates there are more than 50 gangs with over 100,000 members. The U.S., Canada, and Mexico will have a North American host of the 2026 World Cup, the trio winning out over rival bids this morning. Brewers blanked the Cubs 4-0. White Sox topped the Indians 5-1. The news service of Invisible Fence. Want your pet to learn safe boundaries? You need Invisible Fence brand. The secret is their award-winning technology and perfect training protocols taught by certified trainers. Schedule your free quote today at invisiblefence.com for $150 off your customized solution. Invisiblefence.com. 6:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager says the left has ruined yet another event.
So the latest is the Miss America pageant. They are dropping the swimsuit competition and the evening gown competition. See, what a major factor of the left is fear of life, fear of reality.
These people are to the right of the religious right.
We don't want any thoughts of sin.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Pursue your passion with a degree from Aurora University Online. Choose fully online programs in business, computer science, and more. To learn more, visit online.aurora.edu.
Risk mitigation is an important consideration that smart companies pay attention to in today's complicated business climate. Some of the greatest risks occur when your company hires new employees or when you execute new business financial relationships. When your company hires, leases, or conducts financial transactions, decisions are critical. That's why veteran-owned and operated Global Verification Network is a company you should know. Startups to Fortune 100s trust Global Verification Network, and so should you. They're a background screening and investigative services company dedicated to expert, timely, and affordable background screening services for employment, tenant screening, and business due diligence. Global Verification Network is headquartered in Chicagoland, a federally recognized veteran-owned small business, and never offshores data like many competitors. To request your company's risk analysis without obligation or cost, visit mygvn.com or call 877-695-1179 or online at mygvn.com. Global Verification Network, the risk mitigation experts, 877-695-1179.
Hey, we know replacing your roof is a big deal and a big decision. This is Mark Olson.
And Greg Olson, the boys from Crumweedy. If your roof is needy,
call Crumweedy. We would love to do your roof. Why choose Crumweedy to do your roof or roof repairs?
It's all about installation. Our guys are pros. When we install your roof, you'll get the Crumweedy promise of installation that's up to manufacturer specifications. So your warranty is intact. You'll be happy.
Cost. We give you a good, better, best option. You choose. No high pressure.
We're here. We're a third-generation family business that was built on the same conservative values as you.
We do business the right way. We have a special offer that includes free gutters with a new roof. Ask about it. When your roof is needy,
call Crumweedy. 630-595-8020. 630-595-8020.
Get all the info at myroofisneedy.com. myroofisneedy.com.
6:37. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Eastbound I-80 traffic stop and go Wolf to LaGrange Road with a reported vehicle fire. Northbound Veterans Memorial Tollway. There's a delay from Butterfield to Roosevelt. Farther north, the exit to Army Trail is closed right now with a crash. Eastbound Adams Tollway jam. The Tri-State on Kennedy. Those delays continue to Lawrence. Also slow Addison to the Burn Circle. 38 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 16 from Montrose. 13 on the Express. Outbound 35 minutes downtown to the airport. On Eisenhower, 57 minutes, 390 to downtown. 43 from Manhunt. Crash reported at Independence. Outbound 35 minutes to 390. Stevenson, 55 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 33 minutes, 95 to downtown. Traffic is a service of Lowe's.
Pro customers at Lowe's save 5% every day when you use your Lowe's Business Credit Account. That's 5% on all purchases in-store or online. Subject to credit approval, U.S. only. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, we'll have clouds this morning. Sunshine breaks out this afternoon. High near 81 in the western suburbs. Cooler than that along the lake. Patchy clouds and 60 overnight. Currently 70 at O'Hare. Next news at 7. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by St. John's Northwestern Military Academy. More info online at sjnma.org.
Some call me the sage from South Central. Others call me the czar of common sense. But you can call me Larry Elder. And you're invited to join me tonight, starting at 7, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. A judge has enjoined the quote-unquote assault weapon ban that the village of Deerfield sought to impose just prior to its scheduled effective date, Amy. Real blow for Harriet Rosenthal up there at Deerfield.
Oh, yeah, the mayor there, period. So what they wanted to do is that Deerfield residents would have to remove any assault weapons or high-capacity magazines, 10 rounds or more, and if they didn't do that, it would allow police to confiscate and destroy. And people who violated the ban would face daily fines between $250 and $1,000.
Remember when we talked about this when it was first passed by the luminaries on the Deerfield Village Board? We got a call from a Deerfield police officer who said, you think I want to be like going door to door and knocking on people's doors and saying, do you have any guns that are prohibited under this new ordinance? I don't want to do that.
And then we
don't want to do that.
That snitch factor where if a resident, a neighbor doesn't like a neighbor, they could call police and say, oh, he's got an assault rifle and an extended magazine in his house, and it could all be fake news just to try to get the police to go to their house.
Right.
And ridiculous, the whole idea of it.
And you're probably thinking, well, wait a second, I thought we have right to carry here and so on and so forth, so how could Deerfield do this? Well, what they argue is there was the 2013 legislation in Illinois that laid out the provisions for lawful concealed carry. There was a 10-day deadline, the result of a compromise for local units of government to pass more stringent firearm regulations. And what Highland Park is arguing is that the provision in state law providing that local long gun regulations may be amended now provides the basis for it to change its gun safety requirements into a ban. And so that's sort of the legal chicanery or legal argument that Deerfield is making. But a Lake County Circuit Court judge has enjoined the ordinance for now.
And Deerfield's attorney says, we're reviewing with our legal team the full written opinion that the judge entered. We will, of course, honor the order issued by the court and temporarily not enforce the ordinance. Thanks. But we're certainly going to review all of the options available to the village, including the right to appeal the decision to the Illinois Appellate Court.
Well, and here's the thing, too. Of course, this comes in the wake of the Parkland school shooting,
Right,
and so this was a direct response to that. People want to do something, regardless of what that something is. Interestingly, though, you juxtapose it against what's going on in other parts of the state, and similarly, in large measure, in response to the rash of school shootings. We made the New York Times.
Oh, we did?
Yeah. Piece of the New York
Yay?
Times. Although Illinois is one of 40 states that prohibit concealed weapons on school campuses, that's not keeping teachers from turning out in droves for firearms training, spending hours in classrooms and on shooting ranges, receiving lessons for a change. They're the ones receiving them. A couple of examples they provide. Godfrey, Illinois, Mark Maggio's class at Trigger Talent reached capacity just 2 hours after he posted a notice for it. He has more than 40 people on a waiting list. Tom Dorsch, director of On Target Range and Tactical Training Center in Crystal Lake, offered his first course on March 24th. Now has free educator-only courses planned throughout the summer. He estimates about 400 educators have signed up. Mickey Shuck, maybe, owner and instructor at Carey Trainer in the northwest suburbs of Chicago, squeezes in teachers who've signed up in his regular courses. Julie Smith, 54, joined a group of 50 that included teachers, secretaries, and even a superintendent for a training session in Farmer City, led by a retired police officer. She's a third grade teacher at an elementary school there. Has spoken to her husband in the past about carrying concealed weapon for personal safety, and she says, look, none of us ever want to use our guns, have to use our guns, of course, but all of us want to protect our kids. Seems reasonable. Mm-hmm. Seems Midwestern commonsensical to me. So, there's a real, the way this is covered, of course, by the Chicago Press Corps, which sort of dominates media groupthink the same way the D.C. Press Corps does the Eastern Seaboard. What's happening on the North Shore, the bloviations from a tiny dancer in Chicago, it's not representative of necessarily what everybody thinks in this state, what's going on in the rest of the state. And I think we always want to kind of tell these other stories, particularly when they're elevated by a news organization like the New York Times, to remind people that, it's not so one-sided as you think in terms of what people actually think. Now, what they do sometimes is sort of a different matter. But this should also perhaps buttress some weak-kneed Republicans who are afraid about getting cross with anybody who yells the loudest, regardless of the issue, but including on guns. Remember, we had a number of Republicans who, led by the House Republican leader, Jim Durkin, who surrendered on that gun licensing bill, who did the bidding of a socialist from Oak Park named Don Harmon. Oh. So there's the people on the rail in Springfield. There's the people in City Hall. There's the people that the network affiliate news covers. And then there's all these other people that actually live here and have a very different perspective and live a very different life than those that are being carted around in Lincoln Town cars to the Union League Club before they have their finance committee meeting at City Hall, or in Yukons like Tiny Dancer, or the gilded class up on the North Shore.
Right. I mean, you know how I feel about extended clips and extended magazines, whatever.
You want the
right.
one bullet a month?
Exactly. Uh-huh. Yeah, what they do in Serbia. But I did not like the idea of having this ordinance where police could enter your home, take your weapon, and destroy your weapon. I mean, if you read the verbiage in that ordinance, it's just such an overreach of government. It's reminded me what Hitler did right before World War II. They went door to door and confiscated people's weapons.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to go that far, but I mean,
there was an overreach on my part. But
what I mean. But the idea is, I mean, you really want to pit your local police against your otherwise law-abiding residents like that? Is that good public policy? Does that make sense?
Yeah, 312-642-5600 is our turnkey DEPRO answer line. 64636. Type in DA. Then a quick comment. I wonder how that Deerfield police officer feels, who called in before, who said, "I'm not going in."
Speaking on this topic of school shootings and preparedness, how about on law enforcement? We did a story in Chicago City Wire, chicagocitywire.com, about the SWAT ranks in Chicago. So God forbid there was such an incident in Chicago, or something not even related, not even a school shooting, something like the Pulse nightclub in Orlando.
Yeah, they had their 2-year anniversary yesterday.
What kind of tactical response would we have from Chicago? They're volunteers on standby, but they're not required to respond, said the source. From 2 to 6 a.m., CPD SWAT officers on call might show up for an incident, say of domestic terrorism, or they might not. CPD routinely only has 2 members of its SWAT, Special Weapons and Tactics Unit, on duty in the city overnight. 2. And then you have another group in shifts that are on call, but they're not required to show up if they get called. because they're not being paid to be on call because the city doesn't want to pay. The CPD reports that its SWAT team has responded to 40 calls over the past year. It's also engaged in 65 high-risk search warrants, 500 missions at professional sports venues, large concert venues, major events such as the marathon. Of course, the policy is not to reveal the total number of officers or the numbers assigned to each shift, but this is one of my outlets. We were able to talk to some people on the inside who know, and the spokesman for CPD confirmed that volunteers who are on call are not required to respond to a call because they're not being paid to be on call. They're only being paid if they respond to a call. This is different than in LA and New York, both in terms of staffing and how they manage the SWAT team. I believe in LA, you're paid like for one of every 6 hours you're on shift. New York, I believe, has like full-time 24/7 shifts of SWAT officers that are, paid to be on duty. So just think about it. If you're just on call and you're not required to show up, I mean, you go out to dinner, you have a couple of drinks or something. Now you want to show up to a tactical. You want to be prepared to engage in a tactical response as a member of the SWAT team, or for whatever reason. What would the city response be to something like Pulse or something like a school shooting? It's interesting because we talked to a number of experts, including a retired FBI supervisory agent with 10 years of FBI of overseeing FBI SWAT team, 6 years on the FBI's elite hostage rescue team. He said the number sounds a little low, but you really have to look at how the city structures its SWAT operations and when team members are deployed. Some cities like Dallas use SWAT teams for drug raids. In Chicago, you have a lot of murders, but it's bang, bang, they're dead, and then it's a police investigation. They normally don't require a SWAT operation. So we didn't, without having the full context, people were hesitant to make a conclusion about the city's preparedness. But the approach certainly raised some concerns among professionals in the space. Just saying. Dan in Libertyville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning. I attended the Deerfield meeting and opposed their ordinance. No one on the board would accept any questions as something that they had to answer there. They had their minds made up. They were going to vote for what they wanted to vote for. And this ordinance is much more dangerous than people think. It's one thing if you lived in Deerfield and you get the local paper and it tells you this ordinance is coming about and it's bad enough they would do that to their own citizens. Evidently, they don't trust them enough to have firearms. But if you are a concealed carry license holder and you're driving, let's say, from central Illinois up to Wisconsin, and you happen to stop in Highland Park or Deerfield to get some gas, and by some chance someone sees that your weapon is visible as the wind blows and your jacket blows open and they call the cops, you now are under arrest. Your weapon gets seized. It gets destroyed. You pay $1,000 for the weapon and for every magazine you have on you or in your car. This creates a patchwork of laws that make it very dangerous for people who conceal carry to try to know, okay, what's the law now?
Yeah, right. Like it was prior to some uniformity at the state level with respect to concealed carry. Thanks for the call, Dan.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
I'm Lou Dimes. A Fed interest rate hike could come as early as today, and Tesla cutting 9% of its workforce. Consumer prices rose in May. Those stories next.
How much do you spend on your pest control each year? $200, $300, or even $500 or more? What if I said you could spend less than $25 a year, even less with promo code SAVE20? Then listen up. G'day, I'm Scott from Plug-in Pest Free, and yes, it is possible to rid your home or business of unwanted pests for less than $25 per year. The answer is Plug-in Pest Free. Our best seller, the Plug-in Pest Free Pro, will cover up to 4,000 square feet. Now that's fair income. For just a one-time cost of only $249, even less with promo code SAVE20, You'll be pest-free for years to come. Log on to gopestfree.com today. Use promo code SAVE20 and start driving those pests away. Don't spray and regret. Plug in and forget. GoPestFree.com. That's GoPestFree.com. Promo code SAVE20.
The Federal Reserve Board began its two-day policy meeting in Washington, D.C. yesterday. Most economists expect an all but certain interest rate hike. If the Fed follows its normal procedures, a rate hike announcement will come after the session concludes today. Electric car maker Tesla planning to cut about 9% of their 40,000 salaried employees. A company spokesman says the reduction in Tesla staff won't affect its ability to reach production targets for the Model 3 sedan. Monthly consumer prices up moderately in May. Gasoline prices moving higher, and inflation saw a mild increase, suggesting the Federal Reserve could continue to gradually increase interest rates and not throw the economy into recession. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
I've been suffering from depression for about 45 years. I've probably been on 5 to 6 different antidepressants, and even when they did work, there was that underlying feeling of depression, and it would never go away. Just call one of the treatment centers and just talk to the psychiatrist or doctor, and you'll be on your way. I'm Christy. I'm a wife and a mother and a real estate broker, and I no longer suffer from depression.
HPR centers in Chicagoland and Milwaukee offer TMS therapy. In just a few weeks, you can change your life, and it's FDA cleared. It's covered by most insurance, including Blue Cross, Blue Shield, and Medicare. You can make real progress in the battle with depression, cure or remission. Get a free consultation. 800-604-0208. 800-604-0208. HPR centers. Go to endmydepression.com. End your depression.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I'm Mark Gastineau. I played in the NFL for 10 years. I was diagnosed with CTE, with dementia, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's. The fruits and vegetables that we take from Balance of Nature is the best thing that we could ever do. And I'm calling in now to order extra because my wife has been taking mine because she sees a difference in me. It is a wonderful thing that Balance of Nature is doing. I hear the testimonies on the radio, but I'm a testimony for myself. And the fruits and vegetables, if I don't take them every single day, my day is not going to go the same. So God bless you, and thank you for what you've done for my wife and I.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Looking to secure financing on a new home? Then you need to call Team Hochberg. Stephanie, account manager, contacted her credit union to get pre-qualified for a mortgage. Bad move. The credit union's alleged mortgage expert informed Stephanie she couldn't purchase a home without a cosigner. Wrong. Stephanie's grandfather would cosign, but she wanted to do it herself. After hearing hundreds of our ads, Stephanie called for a free consultation. An experienced Team Hochberg mortgage professional answered Stephanie's questions and helped her secure a mortgage without a cosigner. Let's review. The inexperienced mortgage professional at Stephanie's credit union stated she needed a cosigner to purchase a home, and Team Hochberg secured her a mortgage without a cosigner. When securing a mortgage, you could either get terrible advice at your credit union, or you could call Team Hochberg at 312-751-1333. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee 4358 and MLS 19186.
Men, are you tired of those daily blue enhancement pills that take days, weeks, or months to work, if they ever work at all? Listen up. Now you can take Red, the new natural male empowerment pill that works on demand. Even your partner will notice the difference the very first time you use it. To prove Red won't disappoint like the others, you're invited to participate in our nationwide I Take Red Partner Reaction Guarantee Trial. We're seeking participants for this nationwide trial, not only to prove it works the very first time you try it, we guarantee your partner will also notice the difference. Forget those slow-acting blue pills and join those who proudly take Red. Over 50,000 pills have already been claimed and supplies are limited. So to ensure your participation in this free nationwide trial, you must call now.
Superior Virility on Demand. You only need to take Red once to see what all the fuss
is about. Call immediately to participate in our free nationwide trial. Call 800-658-0723. 800-658-0723. Be one of thousands to proudly say, I take Red. 800-658-0723.
Save more with Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Hey, what are you doing up here on the roof?
I want to tell the world I just met the woman of my dreams. What about you?
I want to tell the world that Liberty Mutual saved me $782.
Liberty did what?
They saved me $782.
Oh, you go first then. $782 really puts finding love into perspective.
Visit us online to get a quote, and you could save $782. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Based on a recent countrywide new customer survey, coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company, Equal Housing Insurer.
Visit CVS. It's buy one, get one at your neighborhood CVS pharmacy with thousands of products to discover and hundreds of ways to save. This week, feel your best for less with Nature's Bounty and CVS Health Vitamins BOGO free. And save big on beauty with Revlon, Maybelline, and L'Oreal BOGO 50% off. Restrictions apply. See cvs.com/weekly ad for details. Visit CVS.
AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Again, has Rocket Man gone from a pejorative to a pet name? We'll ask Dean Chang, Senior Research Fellow for Asian Studies at the Heritage Foundation at 7:07.
And later, a hard lesson for anti-Trump Republicans. We'll explain. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Check in with news here at home and around the world. Here is Mike Scott.
An investigation is underway after shots were fired near a CTA Red Line station on Chicago's South Side. A judge halts enforcement of Deerfield's ban on assault-style weapons. Retired Chicago police detective isn't saying much about the federal civil trial where he's accused of framing a man for a 1988 murder. Brewers 2 hit the Cubs. White Sox quiet the Indians. Well, some sunshine later today. WIND Chicago News Time is 7 o'clock.
There is no longer a nuclear threat from North Korea. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. President Trump tweeted that right after landing back in Washington, adding everyone can now feel much safer. He also told Fox's Sean Hannity.
We made a lot of progress, tremendous amount of progress. So one of the things that I'm very happy about, we're not going to play the war games anymore, which you know how expensive that is.
Though some Republicans and Democrats are critical of ending military exercises with South Korea, there's also criticism the agreement he signed with Kim Jong-un does not have a process to verify North Korea giving up nuclear weapons, but there's nothing but praise coming from that country. Fox's Simon Owen monitoring live from London.
Dave, North Korean state TV celebrating the summit as a resounding success and highlighting concessions made by President Trump. A newsreader saying the president showed understanding when he agreed to a North Korean request to halt American military exercises with South Korea. The broadcast also restating North Korea's commitment to denuclearizing the Korean peninsula, although again there were no specifics about what that might involve. Dave?
Simon, the president also tweeted congratulations to Katie Arrington, the Republican who won a primary in South Carolina, defeating GOP Congressman Mark Sanford, a Trump critic.
It may have cost me an election in this case, but I stand by every one of those decisions to disagree with the president.
The president also tweeted a shout-out to Corey Stewart, who won a Senate primary in Virginia. Attorney General Sessions defending his deputy, Rod Rosenstein, after Republicans in Congress claim he threatened to investigate them at a tense meeting as they demand documents related to the Trump campaign probe.
Chris Wray, the director of the FBI, and our senior ethics attorney was there, and others, and did not see it in that same fashion.
Threatening members of the House Intelligence Committee for doing their job, for trying to get answers for the American people, and the Attorney General says that's okay.
GOP Congressman Jim Jordan's pushing for a House vote to force documents to be turned over. Fox News, fair and balanced.
68 degrees. Some of those clouds are beginning to part already. 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. There's an investigation underway this morning after shots were fired near a CTA Red Line station on Chicago's South Side. Police say a person was chasing another person last night on West 79th Street when the shooting broke out. No arrests have been made. Chicago Public Schools Inspector General will soon be in charge of investigating allegations of sexual abuse. Chicago Board of Education President Frank Clark announced yesterday that IG Nick Schuler's office will take over all of the probes.
Nothing is more important than creating a safer school district for our students. And we will not rest until that work is complete.
Previously, the school district's law department would examine sex abuse claims by students on an individual basis. Mayor Emanuel says he has a plan to generate funds for domestic violence programs, but it could mean a new tax, as AM 560's David Stewart reports.
Mayor Emanuel visited the Wings Women's Shelter to announce a plan to impose a 2% fee on home sharing companies like Airbnb to provide money for support services for victims of domestic abuse and their children, in addition to more shelter spaces.
We have to provide more of that, but also all the support and social services to literally allow women to walk away, not only from being entrapped, but for their first day of independence and freedom from violence.
The city already taxes home sharing companies 4% to fund homeless services. David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
There is another case of West Nile in mosquitoes in central Illinois. McLean County confirming a batch of mosquitoes tested in early June tested positive for West Nile. Illinois has not yet seen a confirmed case of West Nile in humans. Major renovations are planned and coming to the shuttered Congress Theater in Chicago. The city development panel signing off on plans to give developers a $10 million tax subsidy to rehab the historic Logan Square Theater. The U.S., Canada, and Mexico will host the 2026 World Cup. FIFA voting today in Moscow to choose the joint North American bid. Brewers blanked the Cubs 4-0 in Milwaukee, while the White Sox defeated the Indians 5-1. The news service of Lowe's. Pro customers at Lowe's save 5% every day when you use your Lowe's business credit account. 5% on all purchases in-store or online, subject to credit approval, U.S. only. 7:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Larry Elder just wants America to know the facts.
Contrary to the Black Lives Matter narrative, the police have much more to fear from black males than black males have to fear from the police. In 2015, a police officer was 18.5 times more likely to be killed by a black male than an unarmed black male was to be killed by a police officer.
The Larry Elder Show. Weeknights at 7, right before Jay Sekulow at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
All money managers may seem pretty much the same. But while some money managers may recommend high commission investment products, Fisher Investments avoids them. Some money managers may have hidden and layered fees. Fisher Investments never does. And while some money managers are happy to earn commissions from you, whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're structured to be on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come to us from other money managers. Talk with us and find out why so many experienced investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments, clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
Earnings vary based on your effort. Message and data rates may apply. Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses right here in Chicago? If so, we have an amazing opportunity for you. We're looking for a small group of motivated individuals to join our real estate investing team. You'll learn our simple 3-step system for flipping homes right here in the local area. This is Than Merrill, star of A&E's hit TV show Flip This House. My team and I are looking for a handful of people in the Chicago area who want to learn how to make money flipping houses in your spare time using other people's money. Chicago is a perfect market for my system, and this week I'm holding a free 2-hour educational workshop where you will learn how to make money flipping homes and how to build long-term wealth with income properties.
To get 2 free tickets to Than's workshop, text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000. Seating is extremely limited, so text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000 right now because this free ticket offer expires this Friday. Just text your zip code to 82,000.
7:07, and a check of the morning commute in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. The latest numbers for you with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Inbound Edens. Delays start at 2 It's 25 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 22 at the Kennedy. Now 50 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 25 for Montrose, 20 in the Express. Outbound 18 minutes to Montrose, 40 from downtown to the airport. About Eisenhower jammed North Avenue to the Tri-State at 25th Circle. An hour and 4 minutes, 390 to downtown, 44 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 37 minutes, 390. Stevenson, an hour, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 42 minutes. Ryan, 33 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 25 minutes, I-80 to the Merge, Bishop 426. Northbound Tri-State, stop and go Southwest Highway to the Hinsdale Oasis, up the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Northbound Veterans Memorial Slope, Boughton to the Reagan Tollway, and Findlay to St. Charles. Other tollways are fine. Eastbound I-80 heavy, the Des Plaines River Bridge to Briggs. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center with meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Some clouds then clearing today with a high getting up to 81. For tonight, patchy clouds with a low of 60. Then tomorrow, sun and clouds with a high 82. Turning out to be a partly cloudy night, low 62. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
69 at O'Hare. Next news at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by In the Know with Wealth Management Group, hosted by Craig Bolanos. Heard Sunday mornings at 10.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, I think I found my favorite internet meme from the Trump-Kim Jong-un summit. There are many.
Yes,
you see,
there are.
right? You see Chris Christie in his beach chair. I've seen that one next to Trump and Kim Jong-un.
Oh yeah.
But the one is just a picture of Kim Jong-un and Trump standing before the flags on the dais, and the caption is, "When you're almost done picking teams in gym class." It's pretty good. Pretty
There's
good.
There's a bond there, and Father's Day's coming up, and maybe President Trump's going to get a Father's Day card from Kim Jong-un.
Well,
I know he has his own father, but he was a very father-esque figure for him.
Trump was very complimentary throughout, including in an interview yesterday with Clinton Foundation donor Zero, George Stephanopoulos. First of all, he laid out what has been accomplished in his estimation.
It got done. I think it's a terrific document. It's a starter, but it's a terrific document. I think far more. And there are things that we negotiated after that document that are also very important. They're going to get rid of certain ballistic missile sites and various other things. We're going to put that out later. But we have the framework of getting ready to denuclearize North Korea.
Which was his, kind of all or nothing demand. I mean, the framework for denuclearization. Now, there is there's at least one point of controversy. This has been the subject of some criticism of Trump from conservatives, such as those over at National Review, and that was his announcement that he'll be stopping the so-called war games with the South Koreans.
Yeah, military exercises. That took the president of South Korea by surprise, and many lawmakers.
Trump said this about that.
Did you talk about pulling troops out, U.S. troops out? We didn't discuss that, no, but we're not going to play the war games. I wanted to stop the war games. I thought they were very provocative, but I also think they're very expensive.
Now he's worried about money?
Well, the issue of the joint exercises and whether or not he's being too congenial, whether or not that constitutes a concession from America with only the promise of a move in the direction of denuclearization from the North Koreans, empty promises potentially that we've experienced before. So that has been the subject of some criticism. And then also just how he talks about Kim Jong-un is another area of criticism. So, for example, this.
His country does love him, his people. You see the fervor. They have a great fervor. They're going to put it together, and I think they're going to end up with a very strong country, and a country which has people that they're so hardworking, so industrious. I think if you look at South Korea someday, maybe in the not-too-distant future, it will be something like that.
Those are called propaganda videos that he was maybe watching where, they come out
Well, they have
cheering him on and supporting him.
Yeah, there's a fervor because it's a fervor at the point of a gun.
Conform or die thing.
And I understand this is just part of what you have to accept with Trump, but it still is a little bit difficult to assimilate. We are talking about the third in a line of 3 generations of brutal dictators that have enslaved their people, murdered political opponents and anybody they're mad at, kidnapped and murdered Otto Warmbier, lest we forget.
Yeah, that was a year anniversary, too, to the day of his release from North Korea.
Nevertheless, Trump says there is a connection that's been made, and he trusts Kim Jong-un, and Kim Jong-un trusts him.
You trust him? I do trust him, yeah. Now, will I come back to you in a year and you'll be interviewing? I'll say, gee, I made a mistake. That's always possible. So, we're dealing at a very high level. A lot of things can change. A lot of things are possible. He trusts me, I believe. I really do. I mean, he said openly, and he said it to a couple of reporters that were with him, that he knows that no other president ever could have done this. I mean, he knows the presidents. He knows who we had in front of me. He said no other president could have done this. I think he trusts me, and I trust him.
It's difficult to know who is more complimentary, Dennis Rodman or Donald Trump. For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined by Dean Chang, who is a senior research fellow for Asian Studies, National Security, and Foreign Policy at the Heritage Foundation. Dean, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
What about the criticism coming from the likes of David French and Michael Brendan Doherty at National Review that effectively he offered concessions, he sort of naively or Norman Vincent Peale, in his Norman Vincent Peale-esque way, took Kim Jong-un had his word, and that has made it more difficult to keep the pressure on the North Korean regime that we need to keep?
Well, when we look at the actual joint document that came out, there's very little in the way of actual concessions here. It says that the two sides are committed to peace. We've always known that. The U.S. side certainly has been. That they will work towards denuclearization. That's certainly not a concession on the part of the U.S. There's nothing there about eliminating or removing sanctions. That's very important. Now, where I think that there has been a lot of discussion, and I look forward to hearing from Secretary of State Pompeo and Secretary of Defense Mattis, is exactly what is it that the President talked about with the North Koreans and promised to do about our joint military exercises with the South Koreans. When he said that we are going to, freeze military war games, what did he mean? Because that could be a major concession.
Well, do you think, though, that it was a first, introduction, though, or do you think he gave away too much by signing that document?
Well, I think that once you agreed to have a face-to-face meeting with the North Koreans, that something like this was probably going to emerge. And let's be upfront. If something like this didn't emerge, if they had simply walked out, waved at the audience, sort of shook hands, and that was it, you would see the press right now saying basically that President Trump squandered an opportunity for improving relations. To be honest, my concerns were more at the other end. Would we emerge with a fairly detailed document that would outline how the U.S. would suspend sanctions, how the U.S. would extend aid, how the U.S. would do all sorts of things for the promise of North Korean denuclearization?
Yeah, and the perspective of Beijing on this, what do you think Beijing is thinking in the wake of the document that did come out of the meeting and the rhetoric from both sides?
Well, Beijing has first and foremost wanted to make sure there isn't a war on the peninsula, and I think that it is reassured in this regard. Unfortunately, I think that, again, looking at the promise of suspending war games, I think Beijing comes out of this thinking, hey, we got pretty much what we were hoping for, which is the freeze for a freeze. The U.S. halts its military war games. North Korea, at least nominally, halts its nuclear and missile program. The problem has always been we're not really sure whether, for example, the lull in North Korean nuclear and missile tests is them deciding not to do things, or is it, I've already finished all the tests that I needed to do for the moment, so I'm going to announce a suspension that doesn't really mean much.
Well, right, and Trump in that interview with Stephanopoulos mentioned that and this, of course, not in the document, but mentioned that Kim Jong-un communicated to him that he was destroying ballistic missile testing sites and was open to doing more of that. It's tough to kind of verify, obviously, what was said between the two, but that was something that Trump suggested.
True, but the flip side to that is North Koreans have promised all sorts of things. And while I'm glad that the president says that he trusts North Korea and that North Korea trusts him, unfortunately, the track record here, if you were to put it in terms of credit ratings, I think North Korea would score somewhere in the low hundreds.
Right.
What do you think for what this means for China? Do you think there are winners in all this? Because they've wanted all along those military exercises to cease.
Well, it certainly helps with them. It opens the way for them to stop enforcing the sanctions that they did impose, and that is really going to be the biggest problem for us, because it is the Chinese crackdown on the North Koreans that probably has brought more pressure to bear on North Korea than anything we've done directly. So if the Chinese take this opportunity to reopen the floodgates, President Trump may find that his negotiating position has very rapidly evaporated. So this is really going to come then down to how do the U.S. and China interact to keep the pressure on North Korea in the coming months and year.
Do you think this was this meeting was a good idea in the first place? There were some analysts who suggested that the legitimizing effect of the President of the United States meeting with Kim Jong-un was a mistake from the outset.
I would certainly say that this has been an unprecedented approach. President Trump basically, it seems, decided on his own, hey, they said they want a meeting, I'm going to go ahead with the meeting. That's not normally how these sorts of summits proceed. We had the moment when Kim Jong-un was sufficiently bellicose that President Trump said, all right, fine, I'm suspending it. That means that it's a good question just how much of the prep work, how much of the staff work was accomplished in what was almost certainly an incredibly short amount of time for a first-time summit between these two leaders.
And
it's a good question, and I'm afraid only time will tell whether this was a good idea or not.
Yeah, speaking of time, how long is it going to take before things get rolling? I mean, President Trump's like, oh, it'll start immediately, but denuclearization could take, 5-10 years?
Again, our concept of denuclearization has always been for them to get rid of all their nuclear weapons, nuclear facilities, nuclear material. That should take a very long time. The North Korean version of denuclearization, we actually still don't know what each side means by that term. It included the U.S. ending its nuclear commitment to South Korea, ideally withdrawing American forces from South Korea. So we've got a lot of ways to go just in figuring out what each side means. And into that confusing mix, we now have the question, what does President Trump think he achieved when he says, I got the North Koreans to denuclearize? Because his understanding of the term may not fully align with longstanding U.S. policy, and certainly it's a good question whether it's the same as what the North Koreans mean.
One of the imponderables, it seems, is just what the sort of economic stability of the North Korean regime is at present. And there's some suggestion that, Trump was doing his real estate developer pitch with Kim Jong-un about what North Korea could be and the beautiful beaches and all that. But
water parks.
The possibility of the need, if not the desire, to economically liberalize, to prop up the regime. And does that provide an opportunity to essentially trade economic vitality in North Korea in exchange for denuclearization? We had Admiral James Stavridis on yesterday, and he put the prospects of actually getting North Korea on the path to denuclearization at like 70-30, which is one of the more optimistic estimates I've heard.
Well, in terms of economic liberalization, I think that we need to be very clear that from Kim Jong-un's perspective, economic liberalization is not necessarily a good thing. He has much more control over his population than your average dictator does. This is a Stalinist-level regime. So opening things up, allowing more trade, allowing more business to occur, means that you're creating alternative power centers within North Korea, many of which will not have little or no loyalty to the Kim family. A businessman who is wealthy and has enough to eat and can do that without reference to Kim Jong-un is somebody who, in a sense, can call his own shot. Is that really something Kim Jong-un wants? His father and his grandfather, the Chinese have said, listen, you need to liberalize. And they consistently rejected it. And, the Chinese aren't saying you should politically liberalize. They were talking about economic liberalization. So I find it hard to believe that Kim Jong-un is going to be open to that, much less by trading away his nuclear capabilities that serve multiple purposes, not least of which, again, is keeping him in power.
But the flip side is he also sees that Trump has no interest in doing an Obama-style Iranian nuclear deal where you dump $150 billion into the country. And so how does he get the resources he needs? Just trying to get sanctions that are currently imposed on North Korea eased?
Well, if sanctions were removed, the sources of investment and money into North Korea wouldn't come from the United States, at least if you were Kim Jong-un. The first place you'd actually go to would be South Korea. And President Moon of South Korea has been much more open to renewing economic ties across the DMZ alongside political relaxation. The next source might be China. The Chinese might be interested in making money through North Korea, but keeping in mind that the Chinese have their own reasons for keeping Kim Jong-un on a short leash. So before he comes knocking at the doors of Wall Street and the White House for aid, he's more likely to knock at the doors of the Blue House in South Korea and Zhongnanhai in Beijing.
He is Dean Chang, Senior Research Fellow for Asian Studies, National Security, and Foreign Policy at the Heritage Foundation. Dean, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
The following is a paid announcement.
Now, Geiger Wealth brings you Retire with Confidence.
Thanks for joining us today, where once a week we get together to talk about retirement planning. Bill Geiger, welcome. I know that your firm focuses on helping couples in their late 50s to early 60s retire with confidence. So, Bill, what is the biggest challenge that you see successful couples face when planning for retirement?
Mike, I sat down with a couple yesterday morning and I asked them that specific question. What do you feel your biggest challenge is getting ready for retirement? And in a heartbeat, the wife said to me, how am I going to pay my bills every month? My husband's going to stop working at some point. His paycheck's going to be gone. How do we pay our bills for the rest of our lives? And it's a long time. We could be in retirement 20, 25, or 30 years. And Mike, when you think about it, 20, 25 to 30 years without a paycheck is kind of like being unemployed. And folks, that's the really big deal in retirement. Where do you get the income from to supplement your Social Security? So you have the confidence that you're going to be able to pay your bills each month, knowing how you're going to keep up your lifestyle, knowing how you're going to feel comfortable and you can do fun things like go on trips and vacations and so on.
For 20 to 30 years, the rest of your life, and maybe leave a little bit for your family too. So, Bill, how do we create this income?
Mike, we find when we look at couples' portfolios, most people have way too much at risk, way too much on the growth side. You simply take some of that growth portfolio, and Mike, we do this all the time. You take part of the growth portfolio and you create an income strategy with it. And that income strategy is designed to create dependable, sustainable income that couples can count on for the rest of their life. Mike, let's do something special for the next 5 callers who call in who have at least $500,000 in their portfolio. We're going to sit down with them personally on a complimentary basis and help them put together a full-blown plan for their retirement, a plan for how they're going to create dependable, sustainable income that they can count on for the rest of their lives and how they can retire with confidence.
Bill, this is a fantastic opportunity because, folks, nothing can be more frustrating than working hard your entire life, saving as much as possible for retirement, then having no idea how you're going to make your life savings last 20 to 30 years or more. Bill and his team at Geiger Wealth can help. They're going to sit down with you personally to create a full-blown plan for your retirement. Folks, this is up to a $3,000 value. It's complimentary for the next 5 couples who have at least $500,000 saved for retirement. Call 800-681-2498. Again, that's 800-681-2498. Together with you, Bill and his team are going to sit down and translate the complex financial planning process into easy-to-understand steps with a roadmap to help you get to where you need to be. Call Geiger Wealth right now for your complimentary, personalized, full-blown retirement plan. 800-681-2498. That's 800-681-2498.
Geiger Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance offered through DeBlanco Inc.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule. Thousands of doctors, health specialists, and professionals recommend Balance of Nature as a way of improving their health. Listen to a few unsolicited success stories from doctors that use Balance of Nature as well.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. I take Balance of Nature because I know, I've seen it in my lab, and I know that it works. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. And that, to me, as a scientist, rings so true.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Hey, Chicagoland, Dan Proft here. I'm here with my guy, Ryan Kelly, at thehomeloanexpert.com. He's one of us, and Ryan just gets it. People are looking to buy a home right now. What do they do?
Oh, it's a great question, and it's a tight real estate market right now. I think most people know that, especially if you're actively looking to buy a house. Maybe you're on Zillow, Realtor.com, you got the apps on your phone, you're stalking them at work, and you're waiting for that right house to hit the market. Well, when it does, you better be pre-approved, and you better be pre-approved by a strong mortgage lender like the Home Loan Expert team. If you think you're the only one watching those same neighborhoods and watching those same streets, you're dead wrong. There's a lot of people out there waiting and watching. When that house hits the market, boom, goes under contract fast. Get pre-approved today at thehomeloanexpert.com, and you'll give yourself a big advantage when you do find that house. Go in there, get in there with your agent. You like it, write an offer, throw the pre-approval on the table. You should get an accepted contract. I'm Ryan Kelly, the Home Loan Expert. No one makes buying a home easier. Get pre-approved at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy coming up. Another Obamacare premium spike in the offing. We'll discuss the details with the Wall Street Journal's Stephen Moore at 7:37.
And we'll check in to see how his buddy, his best man, Larry Kudlow's doing after having that minor heart attack. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
69 degrees. Homeland Security investigating. Dozens of illegal immigrants were found in a tractor trailer in San Antonio. None of the 55 suffering from heat-related problems. The trailer was air-conditioned and supplied with water. North Korea's state-run news agency suggesting today that President Trump has agreed to lift some sanctions after his historic meeting with Kim Jong-un in Singapore. Meantime, South Korea's military hierarchy is asking for clarification after President Trump promised to end joint war games on the Korean Peninsula. Retired South Korean Army General In-bom Chun spoke with NBC.
I couldn't believe my ears. I'm scared a little bit, but I'm hoping that the United States and its president will come up with solutions that will protect the innocent people of this country.
Following his historic Singapore summit with the North Korean leader, the president said war games held every year would be coming to an end. Guess Jeans co-founder Paul Marciano is out as executive chairman after his sexual harassment allegations. Guess says Marciano put himself in situations that gave rise to allegations of inappropriate comments, texts, and unwanted advances. Chicago Public Schools Inspector General will soon be in charge of investigating allegations of sexual abuse of students by staff. You've heard about the story and talked about it with Dan and Amy here on AM 560. Yesterday, Chicago Board of Education President Frank Clark announced that the Inspector General, Nick Schuler, would take over all of those probes.
Nothing is more important than creating a safer school district for our students. And we will not rest until that work is complete.
Previously, the school district's law department would examine sex abuse claims by students. A retired Chicago police detective isn't saying much in a federal civil trial where he is accused of framing a man for a 1988 murder. Reynaldo Guevara took the fifth more than 200 times on the federal witness stand yesterday. One of the last remaining Navajo code talkers has died. Samuel Tom Holliday died in Utah at the age of 94. The former Marine will be buried on the Navajo reservation in Arizona. Code talker's native language was used to create a code the Japanese could not break in World War II. The U.S., Canada, and Mexico will host a North American 2026 World Cup. Chase Anderson and two relievers combined on a two-hitter. Brewers blank the Cubs 4-0 in Milwaukee. Yoan Moncada, Yolmer Sanchez, back-to-back home runs in the first inning. White Sox beat the Indians 5-1. The news service of Ace. Don't miss the Father's Day sale at Ace. Save $100 or more on select items from the best brands like Traeger, Craftsman, and DeWalt. With great gifts right in your neighborhood, Father's Day shopping has never been easier. Offers valid through June 18th at participating stores only. 7:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher says this is why you elected Donald Trump.
The president is correct in calling off the Eagles' White House visit, telling ungrateful, overpaid athletes that if you can't take a few minutes and not aggressively disrespect the national anthem, and you don't want to go to the White House, then your team, including its owner and coaches, are certainly not welcome either. This is why you elected Donald Trump.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Get your truly free credit score and free credit monitoring from Credit Karma. Download the Credit Karma app today. Credit Karma. Get knowing.
You know your old windows are costing a pretty penny in energy costs, and they don't look that great either. But finding the right company for doors and windows is confusing. Options, choices, pushy salespeople. Seems everyone wants to sell and install doors and windows. But you want someone who specializes, not a jack of all trades. The specialty at Next Door & Window is doors and windows. It's right in their name. You want only the best in quality and looks. Next Door & Window delivers with the largest selection of wood-clad vinyl and fiberglass products and custom stains and paints for a look and match that no one else can offer. Right now, get 33% off installation when you schedule a free quote by June 30th. Next Door & Window has showrooms in Arlington Heights, Burr Ridge, and Naperville. Online at nextdoorandwindow.com. But you want to call now to schedule your free quote. Hurry and do it before June 30th. Call 630-590-1370. That's 630-590-1370.
Next Door & Window, thousands of options, one perfect fit.
7:35. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. We're now seeing a delay on the southbound tri-state between Toohey and the Bensonville Bridge. Northbound, it's very heavy from 115th to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to Lawrence. Northbound Veterans Memorial traffic gets the break between I-55 and St. Charles. Southbound 53, it's stop and go ran to Northwest Highway. Aiden's is 23 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose. Southbound 25. Kennedy, hour and 2 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 37 minutes from Montrose. 30 in the Express. Outbound 46 to the airport. Eisenhower, an hour and 5 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 44 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 12 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 42 minutes. Ryan, 35 minutes, 95th to downtown. Traffic service with Lowe's. Pro customers at Lowe's save 5% every day when you use your Lowe's business credit account. That's 5% on all purchases in-store or online. Subject to credit approval, U.S. only. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Some clouds early this morning. Sunshine peaks through later this afternoon. We'll top out at 81 and a low of 60 overnight. Currently in Chicago, 70. Your next news update is at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, best beans, best roast, best coffee.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Big flap over the bathroom policy at Starbucks, right?
Oh, yeah.
By
the city a lot of money.
the way,
Starbucks a lot of money.
Related note, Seattle repealing that head tax they were going to impose on big companies like Amazon in the wake of the pressure and the lobbying effort from those big companies. That's interesting.
Yeah, they reversed that ordinance.
So
big money speaks.
Pressure can be applied, I guess, and it's just another great example of the Amazons, Jeff Bezos, these tech companies. They are capitalists in practice, even though they're socialists in advocacy.
It's so funny. And that Starbucks thing, I mean, it cost the company $12 million because they decided to have a day of training. Remember the racial, what was it? What was the name of the day that they had?
Oh.
Like sensitivity training, actually. And they
Common
closed
Day.
down 8,000 Starbucks, and it cost them $12 million.
So here's what McDonald's is testing out in countries like Britain and Australia. So it could be coming to a Mickey D's near you. What they do for bathroom access is...
The hall pass?
No.
Key on a string or a rope? Or
there's signage.
baton?
Yeah, a big piece of
The piece
driftwood.
of driftwood?
Yeah.
We had a 2x4 in elementary school. What did you have? A Bible.
A private executive bathroom.
Funny hall pass is 312-642-5600.
So
Hall pass was the name of your grade school band.
Right, it was a Hall & Oates cover band. The signage at the McDonald's in the UK and Queensland also says it all. Toilets proudly provided. By the way, here's something, too, I don't like about the kind of European lingo.
Yes.
I got to use the toilet instead of saying use the bathroom or the washroom.
Right.
I don't like
and
toilet.
Water closet.
Sounds crass.
Yeah.
This is gross. I got to use the toilet. I have to use the bathroom.
Have to use the bathroom.
It's more civilized.
Oh, okay. We'll let them.
Toilets proudly provided for the use of McDonald's customers. Code on bottom of receipt.
Code on bottom of the receipt.
So there's not a key with a piece of driftwood. It's a punch-in code. You have to buy something, and then you get a code on the bottom of the receipt to access the bathroom.
Get in the bathroom. That's brilliant.
What do you think about that? 312-642-5600 turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA turnkey.pro text line. You think, well that's sensible. It's using technology, right?
Yeah, it is. It's like a barcode, yeah. But in Europe, you have to pay to use the bathrooms. Well, in France, you do. If you want to use the toilet.
The loo.
You've got to give, sometimes they say put in 50 cents to open up the door to use the bathroom. It's crazy. But I think that will cut down on people trying to just use the bathroom because they can.
Well, it may increase the number of incidents like we had with that one woman who dropped a deuce in front of the cashier. Where was that? At Hardee's
Thomas
or something?
Horton.
Oh, Tim Horton.
Tim Horton, Thomas.
Tim Horton in Canada. That's
the
right.
proper way to say it. Thomas instead of Tim. Thomas. Tim Horton. Yeah. That was disgusting.
So it could because.
And then she threw it too when she was done making doo doo.
Thank you for that.
Circled
thank
around
you for that
and then kicked her legs.
Well, people are very upset, very sensitive about their bathroom access. There's no question. And there's been a lot of criticism of this new bathroom policy because it is leading to accidents and near misses.
Oh. Because when you got to go, you got to go.
Yeah. For example, one woman complained that her grandma has to use a walker to get around. And she said this meant it took them about 5 minutes to walk from the car park. There's another word I don't like.
The car park?
Parking lot. It's like the Boston thing, like park your car in the car park.
Okay.
They say carport.
Carport.
But I don't like car park either. I like parking lot.
All right. So she had to go from the parking lot?
Yeah, at least 10 or so minutes would have passed where a near 90-year-old has to hold their bladder. They're lucky they didn't need to get out the mop and the buckets, and probably lucky I didn't have my kids with me, too. But there has actually been an incident where somebody couldn't hold it or chose not to, and they soiled themselves and the surrounding area. David in Lake Forest. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer. Hello, David.
David.
You got Colin here on I-355.
Or Colin. Hi, Colin.
Oh, Colin. Colin, don't.
Yeah, I don't know where David came from.
All right.
Yeah, the South Loop Jason's Deli has the punch-in code at the top of the receipt.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since that guy tried to strangle the 9-year-old girl in the ladies' room of Jason's Deli.
Oh, well, okay. All right. That's,
we're having
thanks,
fun, but
Colin.
now
Don't
you've
call me
taken it to the
David.
next
Yeah.
level.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
That'd be a problem.
Yeah. I wonder if this will lead more people to choose just to take their business elsewhere, to substitutes for McDonald's like McDowell's.
Look, me and the McDonald's people, we got this little misunderstanding. See, they're McDonald's. I'm McDowell's. Huh? They got the golden arches. Mine is the golden arcs. Now, see, they got the Big Mac. I got the Big Mick. We both got 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, and onions. But they use a sesame seed bun. My buns have no seeds.
No seeds on the buns at McDowell's. Yeah, maybe go to the Golden Arcs instead of the Golden Arches. Ralph and Rantoul.
Hey, good morning. In our lottery and gambling addicted culture, it's perfect because the code on the bottom of the receipt, everybody's a winner. Everybody's a winner.
Everybody got the secret code. Yeah.
Change, so that do you have to hustle with your business before you get out of the water closet before somebody else rushes in, or is it just come one, come all? Everybody's a winner all the time.
Yeah, that's true, right? You got to lock it up so that somebody can have the experience of punching in their own code to prove that they purchased a Happy Meal or some such thing. Yeah,
I don't even like using
Thanks for the call, Ralph.
bathrooms at restaurants anyway, do you? I find it disgusting. I don't know why I think it's disgusting. It's when people hover.
I do my business at home.
And Hyatt cleans up after you with pee pads.
Yeah, exactly. We share a pee pad.
Because you both don't want to leave the house.
Exactly. We're indoor people and dogs. Drew in the Western Burbs.
I appreciate you guys discussing this incredibly important issue.
Thank you.
As you all know, today is Free Taco Day at Taco Bell, so access to bathrooms is extremely important today. So I appreciate that very much.
Thank you very much, Drew. Yeah, I mean, it does. He makes the point, an important one, that now you're going to have to plan this out. And you're going to have to, because you're going to have to take a look at the lines. If I need to go, can I hold it to, snake my way through the line at Wendy's? If Wendy's would adopt this policy.
Yes.
I'm not saying
I don't
they
know
will.
what Wendy's policy is.
John in Palatine.
Hey, Dan, I thought they were already taking their business elsewhere, or now they do.
There you go. Thanks for the call, John. And the rim shot. Judy in Lamont.
Hi, good morning. I think I might have it solved. When we were traveling in Dubrovnik, got off the cruise ship and kind of really had to go to the bathroom, walked up the hill and got to the washroom, and it was literally just a little hole in the ground. I don't even think there was toilet paper. Luckily, you did have the option of finding a real toilet, but hole in the ground, nothing else. Squat it, do your thing, and that was all they had.
All right.
Called the shoe in Africa.
Thanks for the call, Judy.
The villagers put a hole in the ground, put a little outhouse over it. When that's filled up, they pad it up. They move on until it go whole.
Fertilizer. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. It's a secret garden. Margaret in Downers Grove.
Hey, so I was thinking about it. If you're traveling alone and you buy yourself a Happy Meal and then you have to go to the bathroom, what do you do with your Happy Meal? Take it into the bathroom with you? That's gross.
I always leave it at the counter and tell them to
Oh,
watch
yeah, that's a good point. Thanks for the call, Margaret. I never thought about that. Yeah.
Oh, okay, let's just stop.
Well, I mean, it depends how long you plan on being in there. It's just sort of the food cycle.
Okay. I hope people aren't
That is so.
eating right now.
Would you want to leave a meal unattended?
Oh, I've done
to
that.
go to the bathroom.
Oh, I would never bring food into a bathroom. That's disgusting.
Well,
you go, then you order, and then you leave.
but you can't because
You
you got to
hover.
get the code.
Oh, you're right.
That's the
my-
point.
Now, see.
So you either have
10
to.
minutes into the segment, now I understand what's
You
going
either
on.
have to hold it or you have to leave your meal unattended.
Oh, no. Yeah, no.
What
I'm
if
not going to
what if
McDonald's
you
then.
just do takeout? Can you take the food into the bathroom in a
Ew.
bag? Can you do that? Is it Diane in Moments? You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing. Like, you don't know you're not a customer, I guess, until you've already paid for it. I was in a Joann's Fabrics with my daughter, who was about 3.5, had to go to the bathroom, and they said we weren't customers. You had to go somewhere else. I'm like, we are customers. We're looking. We didn't pay for it yet. She has to use the bathroom. So they sent us off through a plaza. We had to check out like 3 different stores. By that time she went, and I didn't go back to Joann's Fabrics for like 10 years. I was so mad.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Diane. I don't really
Isn't the
understand.
customer always right? I mean, whatever happened to customer service?
If you've ever seen Falling Down, you know that that's not our policy. At Whammy Burger.
Oh, that's right, at Whammy Burger.
I think we have a critic. Here's the thing about that, though. There's one thing I understand: not wanting to make your restroom in your business a homeless shelter like Starbucks is,
Right.
or like public access. But if you have a customer, like in Diane's case, you have a customer in there, and it's not a fast food joint, so it's
Right,
like you may buy, you may not, but you're still a customer. There is some of these businesses that so like jealously guard their bathroom privileges. Like there's the fountain of youth is contained in their, you know what I mean?
Right.
Have you ever had that before too? Where like, oh, the whole kind of making, bathroom is not for the public and this and that.
Yeah, I
you
hate
know.
that. No, like, well, where do you go then?
You just drop
They
a
don't let me
deuce on the floor like at Tim Hortons. Rick and Joliet, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, I'm afraid I don't want to know the answer to this question,
Mhm.
but how do you wash your hands first before you eat if you can't use the restroom first?
Well, that's it. You'd have to leave your food unattended, and you trust the other patrons in McDonald's.
Yeah, not a chance.
Okay.
Not any more than I trust people are actually washing their hands.
Thanks, Rick.
Have you ever heard the expression, the customer is always right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, here I am, the customer.
That's not our policy. You have to order something from the lunch menu.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Nowadays, there's an app for everything, and here's one that's a must-have if you golf. It's the Bolingbrook Golf Club mobile app, and it'll enhance your golf experience. You can book tee times at Bolingbrook Golf Club. There's an interactive scorecard, golf games, a GPS, latest news from the club, even a food and beverage menu, Facebook sharing, and more. Just about everything you need for your golf game besides the clubs is in the palm of your hand with the new Bolingbrook Golf Club mobile app. Go to bolingbrookgolfclub.com/contact/download our app. bolingbrookgolfclub.com/contact/download our app and download today.
Have a young golf enthusiast? Keep them busy this summer with the 2018 Robito Golf Academy Junior Golf Program at Bolingbrook Golf Club. It's a great chance for youngsters to learn golf fundamentals and get warmed up for the golf season by the professional teaching staff at Bolingbrook Golf Club. There are special programs divided into age groups, and sessions are still available but going fast. Get more info at bolingbrookgolfclub.com and click on driving range, then junior golf.
You've heard of living trusts and how they can help protect your assets, but you may not know if a living trust is right for you, or maybe you have questions about creating your own living trust. The fact is, almost everyone can benefit from a living trust, which can protect your assets from the court system and your loved ones from unnecessary expense and inconvenience. Learn more at a free seminar Thursday, June 14th at Papa Joe's Restaurant in Orland Park. Estate planning attorney Robert Zapolis will explain how to create your own living trust, estate planning under the new tax laws, why a will does not avoid probate, and more. Have your estate planning and living trust questions answered absolutely free. Don't miss this important seminar, Thursday, June 14th at 6:30 p.m. at Papa Joe's Restaurant, 145th and LaGrange Road in Orland Park. The seminar is free and a complimentary dinner is served, but you must make a reservation now. Call 708-478-1400. Call 708-478-1400. Again, 708-478-1400.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. Everything big city Dem mayors like Rahm Emanuel do is for the kids, they tell us with ersatz earnestness. Rahm, tiny dancer I call him, is quick to take up cause celebs like the Parkland High School Gun Control Brigade in the name of school safety. What Rahm and his leftist colleagues won't do is change school systems run by the adults for the adults, even when some of those adults are child predators. In a blockbuster expose, the Chicago Tribune documented a long-running sex abuse scandal inside the Chicago public schools that should end Tiny Dancer's career, should be international news on par with the coverage given the Catholic Church's scandal, and that should serve as a warning to public school parents across the country. According to the Tribune, since Tiny Dancer was elected in 2011, 430 reports of sexual abuse have been investigated, with credible evidence of misconduct found in 230 of those incidents. Worse yet, the story identified repeated failures to screen out Chicago public schools employees with prior arrests related to alleged sexual offenses involving children. A lot of attention is devoted to holding Pauls and their appointees accountable for threats to kids in school that come from the outside. What about the threats they welcome inside and cover for?
Hey, if you're missing teeth or even a single tooth, then dental implants are a fantastic way to regain your confidence, your smile, and your dental health. Hey, Sean Hannity here, so what are you waiting for? Find out now if implants are for you. Successful implants don't come from an implant factory. Skill, treatment, installation, those are the main differences for successful lifelong implants. That's why you need to see Dr. Neruzzi at Fox River Periodontics. Dr. Neruzzi is the recommended choice of dentists that don't do implants themselves. You need the experience, the skill, and honesty that over 25 years of dental implants brings, and you're going to be happy with your implant. It's not a mass production procedure because everyone is different. And Dr. Neruzzi wants to talk to you about dental implants today.
This is Dr. Neruzzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants.
Call Fox River Periodontics at 630-232-7400. They're online at implantsforme.com.
Millwright work is often technical and requires a high degree of precision. The pros at Vans Industrial are skilled mechanics that can perform any type of millwright work, including installation and maintenance of your factory equipment and machinery. For your machine repair needs, look no further than Vans Industrial.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, president of Vans Industrial. Vans Industrial is an industrial millwright contractor that can install new mechanical systems or repair existing systems. Our services include repair of bearings, shafts, shiv alignments, as well as installation of conveyors and bucket elevators. Our team of trained mechanics will respond to your emergency calls 24/7, keeping your systems operational. We're here to help you.
Call 833-VANS-IND for a free inspection of your facility. That's 833-VANS-IND. Interested in what else they do? Visit vansindustrial.com. That's VANS Industrial.com. Quality craftsmanship since 1964. The Northwest Side GOP Club presents the Ill-Advised Conservative Collective and Banquet. Join them for their annual fundraiser and more, June 21st at Lone Tree Manor in Niles. This is a great opportunity for Chicago area Republicans to get together for an enjoyable evening of information, fellowship, and the promotion of conservative Republican values. The evening begins with a first responder and veteran salute by patriotic rock group Madison Rising and continues with networking, exhibitors, raffles, and a delicious banquet dinner with keynote speaker Dan Proft from AM 560's The Morning Answer. Recently appointed co-chairman of the Illinois Republican Party, Mark Shaw, will also speak on the role of conservatives within the Illinois Republican Party. Like any good conservative collective, the Ill-Advised event will offer attendees the opportunity to interact with local and national organizations, Republican candidates, and elected officials. Don't miss the Northwest Side GOP Club's Ill-Advised Conservative Collective and Banquet with first responder and veteran salute by patriotic rockers Madison Rising, exhibitors, Republican candidates, and elected officials. June 21st at Lone Tree Manor in Niles. Join them as a sponsor, exhibitor, presenter, or attendee. For tickets and complete information, visit il-advised.com. That's il-advised.com.
Hey, nothing says summer like the smell of a grill, a delicious handcrafted burger, and a cold beer or cocktail. The Country House has been providing just that for over 40 years. Their 3 great locations in Lisle, Clarendon Hills, and Geneva offers great hospitality in a casual neighborhood setting. Try their award-winning Country Burger, half-pound of fresh chuck, grilled to perfection and served on dark rye. Country House has several other choices for burgers like bison, elk, turkey, and veggie, and their top-drawer burger blend blend short rib chuck and brisket for an unmatched taste. Take your time looking over the daily specials while you enjoy the spacious deck in Geneva or hang out on the patio in Lisle. And don't forget to join the House Rewards program at Country House and earn points while you dine. All new signups will be entered into a drawing for tickets to see the Northsiders versus the Southsiders. Country House. Visit burger1.com. That's burgerone.com.
AM 560. The Answer.
So I got a text from a friend of mine who used to be in retail. He owned the Play It Again sports franchises.
Oh, yeah.
And I was talking about business owners who jealously guard their bathroom privileges, even with customers that are prospective buyers. They're, window,
Right, yeah.
they're looking around and so forth.
I've never tried to use a bathroom at the one at Ashland and Irving. But
He
I've been going
said,
there for years.
I owned a retail business. People do absolutely disgusting things in there. So I was one of those guys who jealously guarded it.
Oh, so he wouldn't let customers use.
I don't want to know what the disgusting things they do.
Oh, it's
in there.
Yeah. Okay.
Like that.
And then anything that's not locked down, they'll take. They'll even take a bowl brush. I remember somebody stole that at the restaurant I worked at.
I didn't know we had a whoopee cushion drop.
Can we hear that again? No? Fine. Yeah, no one's playing along.
Fitz in Riverside, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, Dan and Amy. I was listening to Amy. She was talking about bringing food into the bathroom, and it is gross. I agree. However, we all bring our phones into the bathroom with us. And if you walk around and 80% of the people are always with their phones in their hands.
Yeah.
And you don't see a lot of those people washing their hands. And you see them eating food after they've had their phone, and they talk on the phone while they're eating their food. And there's nothing more gross than that.
Well, thanks your point fits.
I agree.
Your point fits, and I take your point is that people are filthy animals. Thank you very much. We appreciate the call.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Is the GOP officially the party of Trump after yesterday's primary results? We'll ask Tim Carney from the Washington Examiner at 8:08.
And later, is God a male? And also, California may divide into 3 states. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Information here at home and around the world. Here is the one and only Mike Scott.
An ex-Chicago cop takes the fifth over 200 times in a civil trial. Gunfire breaks out near the Red Line's 79th Street station. 11 are recovering after a car crash on Chicago's far south side. The American Medical Association takes a stand against assault weapons. Brewers 2 hit the Cubs. White Sox quiet the Indians. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
Sleep well tonight. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's how President Trump ended one of his many tweets this morning, proclaiming we are so much safer after the summit. North Korea is no longer a nuclear threat. Fox's Rachel Sutherland, live in Washington.
Dave, Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer called the Singapore summit a photo op.
With the lack of details, we are worried that Kim Jong-un is getting something for nothing.
Counselor to the president, Kellyanne Conway, says President Trump is making good on his promise to denuclearize the Korean peninsula.
I really hope people saw President Trump in full in Singapore when he very humbly said, it's a process.
Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell said the summit is a first step and we have our eyes wide open. Dave.
Now, Rachel, the president also tweeted, we save a fortune not doing war games with South Korea, though some of his fellow Republicans are critical of halting military exercises, an issue Secretary of State Pompeo will likely discuss tomorrow with South Korea's president. In other tweets, the president congratulated primary winners like Republican Katie Arrington, who defeated GOP Congressman Mark Sanford in South Carolina, a Trump critic.
It's time for a change in Washington. It's time for a true citizen legislator, someone who comes from the private sector.
He also congratulated Corey Stewart, a Republican candidate in Virginia who will challenge Democratic Senator Tim Kaine. Also in Virginia, Jennifer Wexton won a Democratic primary and will take on Republican Congresswoman Barbara Comstock in a district Hillary Clinton won in 2016. A 17-year-old's under arrest in Maryland, accused of bringing a stolen loaded gun to a high school. He's being charged as an adult.
School security staff noticed a teen they said they didn't recognize on school property. Then they tried to stop him and talk to him. They say he was carrying a black shoulder bag.
Melanie Alnwick with Fox 5 TV in Burtonsville says the boy gave a fake name and student ID, then ran off campus, but was caught and the gun was in that bag. Fox News. Fair and balanced.
72 degrees, partly sunny skies at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. An investigation continues after shots were fired near a CTA Red Line station on Chicago's South Side. No arrests were made after the fight and firefight broke out in the first block of West 79th Street. Metra is apologizing after a mandatory schedule change caused overcrowding on the busy BNSF line. The rail system needed to revise its schedule for the line out to Aurora because of the implementation of new positive track control safety technology. The change went into effect on the railroad's busiest line on Monday. Metra is promising now to add more cars to some trains in order to cut down on the overcrowding. Chicago Public Schools Inspector General will soon be in charge of investigating allegations of sexual abuse of students by staff. Chicago Board of Education President Frank Clark.
Nothing is more important than creating a safer school district for our students. And we will not rest until that work is complete.
A judge halts enforcement of Deerfield's ban on assault-style weapons the day before it was due to take effect. The order blocks the village from issuing fines or seizing any guns, and it came in response to a pair of lawsuits filed in Lake County Circuit Court by Deerfield residents backed by Second Amendment advocacy groups. The U.S., Canada, and Mexico will host the 2026 World Cup. The FIFA Congress voting this morning to choose the joint North American bid. Brewers blanked the Cubs 4-0. White Sox topped the Indians 5-1. 8:03 is our time. It's time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network, here's Ginny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, now that a judge has ruled in favor of AT&T buying Time Warner, there could be more mergers in the works. 21st Century Fox shares rose in trading after the market closed. Disney has a proposal to buy Fox's entertainment assets, and Comcast is also expected to make a bid. 21st Century Fox's parent company of Fox News. The Federal Reserve is expected to raise short-term interest rates today by 1/4 percentage point. That means you could pay more for a car loan or home equity loan and a higher rate on your credit card. Toyota is getting into the ride-hailing business. It's investing $1 billion in Grab, a Singapore-based company that provides rides in Southeast Asia. Uber sold its local operations in the region to Grab in March. The Dow was down a point yesterday, NASDAQ up 43, the S&P gained almost 5. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
8:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
On AM 560, The Answer. Your opinion counts. And we want to know how you feel about the news stories we're talking about each and every day. Make sure to vote in the M13 Graphics Opinion Express poll at 560theanswer.com. Listen for today's poll question at 10:30 a.m., 12:30 p.m., and 3:30 p.m. And hear the results each evening at 5:30. It's the M13 Graphics Opinion Express poll on 560theanswer.com.
All money managers may seem pretty much the same. But while some money managers may recommend high commission investment products, Fisher Investments avoids them. Some money managers may have hidden and layered fees. Fisher Investments never does. And while some money managers are happy to earn commissions from you, whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're structured to be on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come to us from other money managers. Talk with us and find out why so many experienced investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments, clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
.806 and a check of the morning roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Kennedy inbound delay started Austin. It's 57 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 40 from Montrose, 38 in the Express, outbound 18 minutes to Montrose, 43 to the airport. Eden's 20 minutes like Hook to the Junction, outbound 27. Eisenhower, an hour and 12 minutes, 390 to downtown. 52 minutes from Mannheim, outbound 54, 390. Stevenson, an hour 12, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 38 minutes. Ryan, 40 minutes, 95 to downtown. Southbound Tri-State heavy 21 to 137. Then 280 to the Bensonville Bridge. Northbound jammed, Southwest Highway to 31st, after Reagan to to Lawrence. Veterans Memorial delays. Southbound from the Army Trail toll to Roosevelt. Northbound I-55 to St. Charles. Southbound 53 has delays. Ran to Kirchhoff. Traffic service of Ace. Don't miss the Father's Day sale at Ace. Save $100 or more on select items from the best brands like Traeger, Craftsman, and DeWalt. With great gifts right in your neighborhood, Father's Day shopping has never been easier. Offers valid through June 18th at participating stores only. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, some clouds, then sunshine, high 81. Tonight, patchy clouds, low 60. Sun and clouds tomorrow, high 82. Partly cloudy night, low 62. Periods of sun Friday, high 86. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
72, partly sunny at O'Hare. Next news, 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So primaries in a number of states yesterday that have some implications for November in South Carolina, in Virginia, in Nevada. The one incumbent Republican senator in the top 10 most vulnerable senators, according to some of the rankings, Dean Heller in Nevada. We now know who his Democrat challenger will be. But sort of the big story yesterday was former South Carolina governor, now congressman, now not going to be a congressman for much longer, Mark Sanford.
Yeah, anti-Trumper, and he had no apologies for doing so or being one during his concession speech.
It may have cost me an election in this case, but I stand by every one of those decisions to disagree with the president because I didn't think it, at the end of the day, was either concurrent with the promises I made when I first ran for office or the voices of the very people the first district that I represent.
Yeah, so now he'll perhaps have time to go looking for love in South America again.
Did you say love?
And so oddly enough, I spent the last 5 days of my life crying in Argentina so I could repeat it when I came back here.
Because love is real love. Love is true love.
I will be able to die knowing that I had met my soulmate. This was a whole lot more than a simple affair. But it's a love story.
It's a love story.
That
ended badly.
Mark Sanford is a good conservative, but that public spectacle when he was caught having an affair, it was so embarrassing and disqualifying. The only reason he got back to Congress is because there was a special election for Tim Scott's seat when Scott was elevated to U.S. Senate when Jim DeMint retired. And so Sanford won like a 13-way primary.
Right.
So, there's a lot being made of a tweet that Trump said on an election day, taking a shot at Sanford and endorsing his opponent.
Yeah, and he said, Mark Sanford has been very unhelpful to me in my campaign. He is MIA and nothing but trouble. He's better off in Argentina. Oh, ouch. Then he endorsed his competitor, Katie Arrington.
But I don't think that tweet on Election Day was some kind of verbal or digital guillotine. I don't think you give Trump's tweet credit for the Sanford defeat. But it is interesting to note, if you look around the rest of the country, Corey Stewart, who's taken a hard line in immigration, is sort of a Trumpian populist, wins the Republican nomination to face Tim Kaine for the United States Senate seat in November against, and he defeated, I should say, Corey Stewart defeated sort of more of a Rand Paulian libertarian Republican Green Beret named Nick Freitas. And then the problems that Mitt Romney's having in Utah, of all places, even though Trump has endorsed him. And there's probably a lot of Republicans who haven't forgot what Mitt Romney did during the 2016 election. And Romney's struggling against this this guy named John Kennedy, not John Kennedy. His last name is Kennedy. He's
got an impressive resume. We don't need to talk about it.
Well, I know you're a Romney fan, but
Blah, 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 blah.
this guy Kennedy actually defeated Romney in the Republican nominating convention in Utah back in April. So it's just interesting to posit the question: is the GOP now officially the party of Trump, particularly with his approval ratings inching up? We'll put that question to our friend Tim Carney, who's a senior political columnist for the Washington Examiner, WashingtonExaminer.com. Tim, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So what about that, the party of Trump now?
Yes, and I don't know that I would have said that after the election day. I would have said this is a guy who won an election, but you have the stories you just told. You had Congresswoman Martha Roby, who was outspokenly critical of Trump.
Yeah.
I don't even know if she criticized him after he came into office, but because she criticized him heavily and publicly after the Access Hollywood tape came out, with him, bragging about the ways in which he sexually assaults women. When that came out, she was so critical, and that was used against her, and she was forced into a runoff. And so for an incumbent like Sanford to lose his election, for an incumbent like Roby to be forced into a runoff, for such a prominent politician like Romney to have trouble, and the root cause of all of these seems to be being too critical of Trump. And so what does that mean? It means no party ever really stands for just ideas in the way that, say, our editorial page at the Washington Examiner can do, or, a think tank scholar can do. Parties always compromise, deviate, sell out, do all that. But now there's a party that simply stands for a man and doesn't even sort of claim to stand for ideas. That the way to be a Republican, and some people even say the way to be a conservative, is to support the president. And I don't think we've seen a party go this far in that direction in recent history.
Well, I think it's great that the base of the Republican Party is starting to align themselves with President Trump. But in the case of Mitt Romney, those two have kissed and made up. I mean, he interviewed him to be the possible Secretary of State. So I don't know why. Is there something else going on in Utah that we don't know?
No, I mean, Romney is pretty popular among the Utah Republican establishment. They have liked him. They think he won't have any trouble winning in November. But I do think what's happened was that sometime between when Trump secured the nomination and then the general election, and then again in the first year of Trump, over those sort of 18 months, or even you could say, from when the 12 months from when he secured the election to when he'd been in office for 5 months, the conservative Republican base that was across the country that was very skeptical of Romney in the primaries came around to him. He gave us Neil Gorsuch. He got the right enemies was a big part of it. The media absolutely hating him for so much of the Republican base. That identity politics, the culture war of fighting against these guys who seem to hate middle America. That's what it was, with Trump being so thoroughly hated. I just think that's what it is, that when Romney criticizes Trump, he sounds like Jim Acosta of CNN who's criticizing Trump, and that
well,
and Romney recently came out and said he wrote in his wife Ann Romney for president, which I think he could have just
and that
kept
was
that
what
to
a lot
himself.
of Utah did. I mean, if none of the above had been on the ballot, its best state would have been Utah. Romney, Trump, remember, got less than 50% in the election, but I think you would see. If Trump were on the ballot today, he would do a lot better in Utah. That a lot of the conservative base, including sort of some of the religious conservative base, that was very averse and skeptical of Trump, has come around to him. Now, the question for me, as a guy who cares about ideas, is will they follow him anywhere? Will they follow him to unconservative places, whether it's, trade is one thing, then you go further and spending. And obviously the base followed George W. Bush on big spending. And then if Democrats take over Congress, what happens then? Does Trump try to cut deals with the Democrats? If that happens, and they're definitely sort of Chuck Schumer-ish deals, what does the Republican base do at that point?
Well,
It could get very interesting.
Well, here's the thing with Romney, though, too. I mean, he's sort of the quintessential politician that a lot of the base of the party is rejecting through experience with such. I mean, Romney. Yeah, how many states is this guy from? This is a guy who who got into. I mean, I know he had a successful business career, obviously, but he got into politics because he wanted to be something. And the perception is Donald Trump got into politics because he wants to do something, and he's doing things. And you might not like everything, but you're going to like a lot of it if you're from a center-right perspective. And so, boy, that's a pretty easy choice for most Republicans, even conservatives, to make. And in terms of this kind of like their blind loyalty is required. You have Republicans criticizing Trump on trade. You have people that can stand on their own 2 feet in the Freedom Caucus, the Jim Jordans and the Mark Meadowses of the world. So this is not some kind of a Kool-Aid cult here.
No, but I think they don't criticize him. This is something we do in Washington Examiner. We bring in politicians all the time, and one of the things we've asked basically every one of them is, are there ways in which Trump makes your job harder? And basically none of them, whether you had Mike Lee from Utah or Thomas Massey, who's incredibly forthcoming, he's a congressman from Kentucky, or any of these guys, moderates, conservatives to Trumpers, none of them are willing to criticize the president, and Sanford was an exception. One reporter tweeted out that they're going to miss Sanford because he was a guy you could walk up to in the hallway and he would actually say what he was thinking, which is not the way most politicians do.
How many?
There's all sorts of things they won't do, and most Republicans won't criticize Trump. And when he does, if he does, deviate immensely from the conservative line, or if he does, says things that just any good person should object to, I think it's dangerous to have a president who the party is afraid to criticize.
Well, yeah, but I mean, is it fear or is it a political expediency in advance of the midterms when you have his numbers bumping up and you have some fears not being realized, such as what happened with the California primary, where these 7 seats that were supposed to be part of the blue wave don't look like they're going to be part of the blue wave, and so the prospects of this guaranteed takeover of the House by Nancy Pelosi and crew doesn't look so guaranteed at the present time.
Well, I'm going to be more pessimistic and say that I think it's sort of a ratchet that only goes the wrong way. That being against Trump can hurt you, but I don't think being with Trump will help you. One thing to remember is in the 2016 election, Donald Trump didn't really outperform any Senate candidates in any of the competitive states. He outperforms the average Republican in Kentucky and West Virginia, and that's about it. Even in Pennsylvania, where he did much better, obviously, than McCain or Romney before him, Pat Toomey, the senator there, got more votes, got a higher percentage of the vote than Trump did. And, you had a similar phenomenon in places like Michigan and Wisconsin, where he's not dragging up candidates. It's just he drags them down in a primary if they disagree with him. Here would be, and he also, I think, drags down Republicans in some of the, the highly educated places, in Northern Virginia, in the North Shore, there in Chicago. Those places he drags down Republicans, but then you go to these blue-collar rural places. Is he going to give any boost to Republicans there? Maybe he will, but we haven't seen it.
Right, but I mean, I can see the point that his coattails or lack thereof are uneven across the fruited plains, but I mean, to compare it to 2016 is sort of a difficult thing to do because so much has changed. I mean, this changes on a daily basis. His numbers aren't where they were 3 weeks ago, and in part because the American people are supportive of him in some areas, overwhelmingly supportive of him. Even just, for example, like the summit he just had with Kim Jong-un, that was something that was popular, even if people are skeptical of how productive it will be.
And so, can he convey that to congressional Republicans. He's the economy obviously is doing great, and at the Examiner we had an editorial saying the best thing Trump is doing is getting the government out of the way. He's acting like a conservative. He's not trying to boost it in the way we feared he is. He's cutting taxes and reducing regulations and letting the economy grow the economy. And so I think that will help Trump if this continues into 2020. So will it help Republicans in the midterm to have passed the tax cut bill and to be on Trump's side? That's what I'd be looking for right now to see. If Trump's helping the party, it will show up that Republican members of Congress, incumbents, are getting credit for the strong economy.
All right. He is Tim Carney, senior political columnist for the Washington Examiner, WashingtonExaminer.com. Tim, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Amy.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up, California could be divided into 3 states. And if that happens, could that happen here? Should it? But first, here's your forecast. Today, we are going to have mostly brilliant sunshine. Isn't it nice out there? As we progress through the day, the humidity level is going to drop. We're going to have a high of 81 degrees. Tonight, patchy clouds, a low of 60. And tomorrow, for our annual golf outing, we're going to have mostly sunny skies, a few high clouds, and 82 degrees. Let's get into our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Amy. Thanks, Dan. Well, the fairway looks good right now on the Reagan Tollway. No delays to report on 88 eastbound or westbound at the moment. Eastbound Adams Tollway just a little tight approaching the Kennedy. Tri-state different. It is heavy on the southbound side from Toohey to the Bensonville Bridge. Northbound jam, Southwest Highway to 31st, Reagan Tollway to Lawrence and Oakton to Lake Avenue. Northbound Veterans Memorial to jam is from I-55 to St. Charles. Southbound from the Army Trail toll to Roosevelt. Eden's 19 minutes Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 29. Kennedy, 57 minutes O'Hare to downtown, outbound 43. Eisenhower, an hour and 14 minutes, 390 to the Circle, and 48 minutes from Manheim, outbound 48 to 390. Stevenson, an hour and 12 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. To Ryan, 42 minutes, 95th to downtown. Jim Talamonte and the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
For years, you've heard of St. John's Northwestern Military Academy, serving young men with an outstanding education and preparation for life. Now that same experience is available for your daughter. With summer vacation right around the corner, now is a great time to register your son or daughter for summer camp at St. John's Northwestern Military Academy in the beautiful region of southeast Wisconsin. It's a time to refocus from the distractions of life and explore the potentials in many areas of life. There's Camp St. John's Northwestern with 4 one-week sessions of outdoor activities for 10 to 16-year-olds. And summer school for 5 weeks to recover credits or get ahead for full credit. Limited registration for co-ed summer camp is happening now, as well as the year-round school application process. Hurry, space is limited. For more information, call 1-800-SJ-CADET. That's 1-800-SJ-CADET, or visit their website, sjnma.org. That's sjnma.org.
Earnings vary based on your effort. Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses right here in Chicago? If so, we have an amazing opportunity for you. We're looking for a small group of motivated individuals to join our real estate investing team. You'll learn our simple 3-step system for flipping homes right here in the local area. This is Than Merrill, star of A&E's hit TV show Flip This House. My team and I are looking for a handful of people in the Chicago area who want to learn how to make money flipping houses in your spare time using other people's money. Chicago is a perfect market for my system, and this week I'm holding a free 2-hour educational workshop where you will learn how to make money flipping homes and how to build long-term wealth with income properties.
To get 2 free tickets to Than's workshop, call 1-800-300-2330. Seating is extremely limited. Call right now because this free ticket offer expires this Friday. That's 1-800-300-2330. That's 1-800-300-2330.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule. Thousands of doctors, health specialists, and professionals recommend Balance of Nature as a way of improving their health. Listen to a few unsolicited success stories from doctors that not only recommend it, but use Balance of Nature as well.
In my practice, I was getting to the point where I couldn't have the strength to see that many patients anymore. I was diagnosed with sarcoidosis. It It really affected my breathing and the strength that I had. And I was introduced to the fruits and veggies. Just slowly, my strength started to come back. And it was because of the good nutrition. I can't say enough good for Balance of Nature and what it's done for me. I recommend it to everybody.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Accurate portrayal of a patient testimonial.
A few years ago, I started noticing how quick my legs got tired, sore, and heavy feeling. I'm over 40, so I figured par for the course, right? But then my doctor told me about vein disease. Vein disease is more commonly recognized as those naughty bulging varicose or spider veins, but you can still have it and not see the obvious signs. In fact, vein disease is typically undiagnosed and can be debilitating if left untreated. So I went to the specialists at Vein Clinics of America for a free evaluation. They've been successfully treating vein disease for over 35 years. One easy test, and they can tell you definitely whether you have it or don't. I did. Treatments were minimally invasive, it was covered by my insurance, and now my ugly varicose and spider veins are gone. Thanks to Vein Clinics of America, my legs feel years younger. And I'm able to wear shorts and skirts again. So call Vein Clinics of America now to see if you qualify for a free consultation. Call 800-223-9119. That's 800-223-9119. 800-223-9119.
Chicagoland Dan Proft here, and I'm here with my guy Ryan Kelly at thehomeloanexpert.com. He's one of us. He gets it. That's one of the things I think that separates you from others in a very competitive marketplace, Ryan. Why is thehomeloanexpert.com the place to go to buy or sell your home?
I'll give you a couple of things that really separate the Home Loan Expert office from all these other mortgage lenders. First of all, it's the way we take care of our clients. 15 years ago, when I was knocking on doors, trying to start up the Home Loan Expert and get in the business, I sat down at people's kitchen tables and I talked to them. And one of the biggest frustrations people had was they didn't trust mortgage lenders. They felt like they were shoved into loans. Well, we don't do that. We offer customer service that nobody else can match. And, of course, lower rates on better loans. And we do all types of loans. We do the VA loans. Heck, we close VA loans in 14 days. Nobody else does that. We do jumbo loans, cash-out loans, FHA loans. We can do a loan for about anybody. Heck, we have a bank statement mortgage. We don't even need your tax returns or pay stubs. Thinking about refinancing, now's a great time. 5 minutes can save you $500 a month. Apply online today at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer. What is coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer?
Is it a good thing to have rich people or not?
Oh, that's right.
Which one of the quadrants of Illinois do you want to congregate the rich people as you carve it up a la California? We'll discuss at 8:38.
But first, we're going to head right into the newsroom and catch up on everything. Here is Mike Scott.
Partly sunny skies in Chicago, 74 degrees. North Korean media suggesting that President Donald Trump has agreed to lift sanctions after their historic meeting in Singapore. What the president actually said after the meeting was that sanctions would remain in place until the U.S. is certain nuclear weapons are no longer a factor. Meantime, as for those war games, retired South Korean Army General In Boom-chun spoke with NBC about the news and the ripple effect on his country.
I couldn't believe my ears. I'm scared a little bit, but I'm hoping that the United States and its president will come up with solutions that will protect the innocent people of this country.
The president said after the summit, war games held every year would be coming to an end. Speaker of the House Paul Ryan bringing 2 immigration bills before the House next week. The move is an effort to stop a bipartisan play that tries to force a vote on DACA, the Obama-era rules that protected illegal immigrants brought to the U.S. as children. Vice President Mike Pence will speak to the annual meeting of the Southern Baptist Convention today. Metra is apologizing after mandatory schedule changes caused some overcrowding on the busy BNSF line. Rail system needed to revise its schedule for the run out to Aurora because of the implementation of new positive train control safety technology. The change went into effect on the railroad's busiest line on Monday. Metra now promising to add more cars to some trains in order to cut down on overcrowding. 11 people are recovering following a car crash on Chicago's far south side. It happened near 122nd Street and Ashland Avenue yesterday. A former East Chicago, Indiana councilman is confessing to gunning down a man in 2015 while discussing a drug debt. Robert Battle is expected to plead guilty in Hammond federal court next Monday. Chicago sports. Well, it's a big win for the U.S., Canada, and Mexico, a North American World Cup in 2026. The Soccer FIFA Congress voting today to choose the North American bid over a rival bid from Morocco. Brewers blank the Cubs 4-0. White Sox defeat the Indians 5-1. The news service of Ace. Don't miss the Father's Day sale at Ace. Save $100 or more on select items from the best brands like Traeger, Craftsman, and DeWalt. With great gifts right in your neighborhood, Father's Day shopping has never been easier. Offers valid through June 18th at participating stores. 8:32 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher says this is why you elected Donald Trump.
The president is correct in calling off the Eagles' White House visit, telling ungrateful, overpaid athletes that if you can't take a few minutes and not aggressively disrespect the national anthem, and you don't want to go to the White House, then your team, including its owner and coaches, are certainly not welcome either. This is why you elected Donald Trump.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Pursue your passion with a degree from Aurora University Online. Choose fully online programs in business, computer science, and more. To learn more, visit online.aurora.edu.
If you have pain, listen up. Dennis Prager here. You don't need to live in pain. Let me repeat that. You don't have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst, whether it's from an accident or pain that just develops. So, Chicagoland, you're in luck. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the nation's most respected and successful pain doctors. He's been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Bottom line, he's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido of Chicago Anesthesia and Pain Specialists will help you get off pain medication and all of its side effects. How? By finding the source of your chronic pain and fixing it.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. Let's make you pain-free.
Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain, and you can be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info you need at mypainchicago.com.
It is 8:34. Let's get an update on the roads now in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Traffic is heavy on the inbound side of the Kennedy Expressway starting at Central. It is an hour and 2 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 47 minutes from Montrose, 44 in the Express. Outbound 15 minutes to Montrose, 39 to O'Hare. Eden's 19 minutes, Lake Cook to Junction. Outbound 29. Eisenhower, an hour and 14 minutes, 390 to downtown. It's 48 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 48 to 390. Stevenson, now an hour and 20 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 40 minutes to crash near Demon. Ryan, 42 minutes, 95th to downtown. Outbound 20 after a crash near 63rd. Tri-State, southbound slow 2E to the Bensonville Bridge. Northbound jam, Southwest Highway to 31st. Reagan, Tollway to Lawrence, and Oakton to Lake Avenue. But Adams Tollway tight approaching the Tri-State. Reagan Tollway okay. Veterans Memorial slow southbound from the Army Trail till Roosevelt. Northbound I-55 to St. Charles. Southbound 53 delays from Brand to Kirchhoff. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Clouds this morning, parting for afternoon sunshine, a high of 81. Patchy clouds and 60 overnight. Clouds and sun tomorrow, 82. Friday, 86. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, we are not talking upper 80s. We are talking 90 plus. Sunday, Father's Day, your heat index will likely top 103 with a high of 93. Currently 74. Next news coming up at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by The Lou Bridges Show, a show about the truth of the foreclosure crisis. Saturday mornings at 8 on AM 560, The Answer.
Only the best biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan. And Amy, is having rich people a net good thing or a net bad thing for America? Should we eat the rich? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Can we just all wallow in our shared misery? And that's the best way to eliminate class envy.
Well, Tiger Woods, he's going to be in a tournament, PGA Open tomorrow.
Yeah.
And in Long Island, and he brought his yacht called Privacy. And the reporters took him to task because it costs $2 million a year to maintain. And they said, oh, well, how do you feel that you have the biggest yacht here? And he said, I feel great about it.
I feel good about it.
I earned it. So they're trying to, rich shame him.
Yeah.
Yesterday. So I thought, that's an ancillary issue, but I don't know where you're heading with this, but I'm just letting you know that made me mad.
Okay, well,
he earned that. He bought that fair and square with proceeds from games that he's played.
Yeah. So Gallup has been asking this series of survey questions for a number of years. Do you think the United States benefits from having a class of rich people or not? And the demographic distribution of responses is interesting, as well as the change over the last 6 years. You know how Ross Douthat at the New York Times made the comment that the country may be moving left, but Democrats are moving left much faster than the country is?
Yes.
And this is what has them imperiled in terms of their continued existence in any form other than the minority. Do you think the United States benefits from having a class of rich people or not? Republicans, 80% say yes. That was in 2012. 81% in 2018. It stayed the same. Independents, 59 in 12, 57 in 18. So majority of independents say yes. Basically stayed the same over the last 6 years. Democrats, 52% in 2012. Now only 43%. A statistically significant Occupy Wall Street-induced drop. 9 points. Only 43% of Democrats say the United States benefits from having a class of rich people, despite the fact that, as we know, some of the most celebrated rich people in our country are Democrats. And for some reason, those individuals are exempted from their class envy. They pay for the privilege. That's what Hollywood did. They buy people off for the privilege of being rich and, again, practicing capitalism, preaching socialism. This is really interesting, too. So, think about this divide, though, and what it says and how it informs our politics. 81% of Republicans think the United States benefits from having a class of rich people, and 43% of Democrats do. It's a big spread.
Is it good to have the rich to help with the poor?
Well,
somebody's got to. Well, that's what the Bible says.
Yeah, all the old cliches are true. I've never been hired by a poor person, right?
Yeah.
Here's the other interesting thing too. Would you want to be rich? So do you think it's a good idea to have this class of rich people? And by the way, class sort of implies that it's in stasis, that we have some kind of caste system, which we don't have. Class means, an income threshold, but there's a lot of upward and downward mobility. People that are in the 1% and then are not, and vice versa. Would you want to be rich, though? Remember, 43% of Democrats say it's good to have a class of rich people, only 43. 60% of Democrats say they want to be rich, which mirrors Republicans. Only 60% of Republicans say they would want to be rich, even though 81% say that it's good to have a class of rich people for the country. Is that interesting? It seems to me that it says something about the mentality, at kind of the mean level of the two parties. Democrats are sort of anti-aspirational. They personally want to be rich, and they're envious. But by 50% more want to be rich than think it's a good idea to have rich people. You see the disconnect?
Yeah.
By the contrast, Republicans say, hey, it's great to have rich people. A third more Republicans say it's good to have rich people than actually want to be rich, because They say, well, there are more important things in life.
There are more important things in life.
Right. So money's not the biggest driver.
It certainly isn't for me.
Well, but it is really interesting though that it's not just the divide in terms of is it a good idea to have rich people. It's also just the mentality of I think it's to repeat, 60% of Dems say I would like to be rich. Only 43% say it's a good idea to have the rich. It's only a good idea. Fewer people say it's a good idea for me to be rich than want to be rich.
Right.
It's bizarre. It's a paradox. Whereas Republicans, it's the other way. Only 60% want to be rich. 80% think it's a good idea. I'm not counting other people's money. Republicans. Democrats are. Because they have plans to redistribute it, I suppose. Right. But I think it says a lot about the philosophy and the philosophical divide, or maybe not so much philosophy, attitude, and the attitudinal divide between the two parties. Here's something else, too. How likely is it that you will ever be rich? Only a third of Republicans and Democrats think they'll ever be rich. So that speaks to, sort of aspiration. And one of the great things about America is its aspirational disposition. One other thing, too, where do people right now in the era of Trump stand on income distribution versus the opportunity to get ahead? Majority actually are satisfied with the opportunity to get ahead. 63% are satisfied with the opportunity to get ahead in America. And in terms of fair share, middle income percentage of people who think middle income families are paying their fair share, 51%. And less than 50% now say that taxes are too high. And that's obviously influenced by the recent tax cuts. So it's the people's attitudes about the class envy politics, because that's what this is really speaking to, are really interesting. And the way that you frame the discussion, because what the Democrats are offering nothing going into this fall other than anti-Trump, and the subtext is, of course, the class envy politics that they always play. What this tells Republicans and conservatives is there's a lot of upside to take on class envy politics straight away rather than to play the fairness game with Democrats. Stop debating these issues on their side of the field and push them down to our side of the field, the opportunity side. Sean from Elmwood Park here on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Is that the Sean?
You know what I find interesting about what you're saying? I think you're touching the surface, but here's the issue. The pro-Republican today is also pro-government extortion. So you're not going to get a true answer because people don't understand what rich is. Neither party supports property rights. Neither one. They just support their idea of pressure point and control. So in other words, look at the debate that Trump has really opened up. It's pro-strongman government. And that's what national populism, that's what this is. Look at the tariffs, for example. It's my favorite topic because it shows you who you're really dealing with. They're not interested in the idea of rich from the individual standpoint of the capitalist. They like a collective idea of rich.
Well, you're assuming a lot of facts, not evidence, and you're imposing on this sample. You're imposing on the sample positions that you don't know that they have. There's obviously a lot of people, myself included, who do oppose Trump's position on tariffs and protectionism, as well as rent-seeking behavior, and I'm not the only one. So you're kind of painting with a broad brush.
Very small percentage. Who are you arguing with during the week? You're arguing with Stephen Moore. You're arguing with Larry Kudlow. You're arguing with former Reagan trickle-down capitalists who have now adopted populism. You're losing the argument because you're having it with binoculars from a mile away. That's how you get this guy who's Look at Trump. He's only really practiced capitalism, yet he advocates everything but. That's why his buildings don't have American steel. His entire history is a scam. Come on, man. You got people rallied. They're cheering against their interests. It's over with.
Yeah. I mean, it's just the record just doesn't reflect that statement. Thanks for the call, Sean. I mean, you talk about the Trump Krishnas, people do, the people that are kind of blindly following Trump. That's one of the criticisms. But then you have Sean come on and he offers a sort of a blanket statement about Trump and everybody who's in Trump's orbit and everybody who supports Trump. And it just doesn't square with the facts. It doesn't square with the deregulation. It doesn't square with the tax cuts. It doesn't square with much of what Trump has done. There are areas where I would have been and will be critical of Trump. But this kind of like everything is this, and all of these references to authoritarianism or the evoking that this is some kind of dictatorship in the offing, it's hysterical. It's hysterical. The anti-Trump folks that are of a center-right or free market perspective need to be a little bit more calibrated in their assessment, too, lest they fall prey to the same criticism they are leveling against Trump supporters.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Plenty of sunshine today, and boy, do we deserve it after just a string of rainy days. We were calling it perpetual rain. We're going to have a high today of 81 degrees, and the great news is the humidity is going to fall throughout the day. That'll make it more comfortable around here. Tonight, patchy clouds, a low of 60. And tomorrow, for our annual golf outing at the beautiful Bolingbrook Golf Club, the proceeds benefit the 100 Club of Chicago. We're going to have a great day. Plenty of sunshine, a few high clouds, a high of 82 degrees. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Centaur. He's teeing it up for us already. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Good morning. Morning, Dan Kennedy inbound. It's heavy from Central to Randolph. Travel time is an hour and 2 minutes, so here to downtown. 47 minutes from Montrose, 44 in the Express. Outbound 39 minutes to the airport. Eden's fine inbound. Outbound, you've got 10 minutes worth of delays between Montrose and Lake Avenue. Eisenhower, an hour and 14 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 48 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 20 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 40 minutes. Ryan, 42 minutes, 95th to downtown, outbound 20. Southbound Tri-State tight from the Adams Tollway to the Bensonville Bridge. Northbound delays are 87th, 31st, from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue and Oakton to Lake Avenue. Adams, Reagan Tollway's fine, Veterans Memorial. Still slow going southbound. The Army Trail to Roosevelt, northbound I-55 to St. Charles. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Upstream-ideas.com, premium content that complements what we do each morning on this show. My 60 Seconds of Sanity commentaries this week on the CPS sex abuse scandal. We've got a new Follow the Logic, Man on the Street segment we've posted, asking people about the ideological persuasion of commencement speakers. 'Tis the season. Heart of the Matter, which is our series featuring professional women speaking collegially about the important issues of the day. The latest episode focusing on gun rights. Our long-form interview series Against the Current, featuring discussions with leading policymakers and opinion leaders. We're still featuring the Bob Woodson from the Woodson Center interview that I did. And then don't forget our sister site, defendhomeowners.com. Defendhomeowners.com, free property tax report on your home, as well as updated home sales information for your neighborhood and community. Get a little bit of a handle on how property taxes are impacting your home values, as well as how much home you could be buying if you lived in a state not named Illinois. All the property tax and home sales info at defendhomeowners.com. Everything else at upstream-ideas.com.
Hey guys, Ken here from the Business Accelerator podcast, Today's Growth. If you had to choose a vehicle to take you up the rocky side of a mountain, would you choose a Ferrari or a Jeep? The Ferrari's faster, cooler, maybe even sexier, but if you have to get to the top, the Jeep's a better bet. I think we can agree getting to the top is not about the driver, it's the vehicle. Have you noticed people often pick their financial vehicle like they pick their cars? Washington Post shared that only 1 out of 4 people choose a job that uses their college degree. Why? Simple. Something more immediate, maybe cooler, maybe even sexier came along first. Shouldn't the main deciding factors for revenue generation be production or output? Should the cool factor have any weight in choosing someone's income? If getting to the top of the financial mountain is mission critical for you, why not add a few Jeeps to your garage? Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that makes it to the top every time? If so, you have to see the Jeeps lined up at IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule. Thousands of doctors, health specialists, and professionals recommend Balance of Nature as a way of improving their health. Listen to a few unsolicited success stories from doctors that not only recommend it, but use Balance of Nature as well.
I look at Balance of Nature and I look what it's doing for me as I've started taking it, and for the patients that I have that are taking it, it's been phenomenal watching the changes that have happened and how much healthier and how much more energy that they have. I haven't heard any negative feedback from any of my patients who have been taking the product. The thing that amazes me with it is that it's so simple.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Folks, when shopping for a home mortgage, how much is great service, low closing costs, and competitive interest rates worth to you? At Townstone Financial, it's priceless. Hi, Barry Sterner, founder of Townstone Financial. Let's hear about the Townstone experience from one of our customers.
We have a 40-year-old daughter with metastatic stage 4 breast cancer, and the reason we needed to refinance is so we can help her. Zach said, yeah, we can do something, and believe me, he's my hero right now. He took enough money out to pay all my taxes, my insurances, everything is now escrowed. I love what he did, and didn't change any of the terms that he said to begin with. Your competitor was like a bad car salesman. Phenomenal job, Zach.
Remember, nobody values your home mortgage business more than Townstone. I guarantee it, and I own the company. So call me now, Barry Sterner, at 312-896-2110. That's 312-896-2110. Or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financials, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, Illinois, mortgage licensee 6629 and NMLS 136639. Equal housing lender.
You know, Schrank Smoke & Gun has the largest selection of new and used firearms in Lake County. And now in June, green tags save you some green. All pre-owned firearms are on sale. Just look for the green tags. Also in June, 50-round 9mm Federal range ammo is only $10.50 per box, and 500-round Federal bricks of .22 caliber LR ammo is only $39.95. Generations of customers shop Schranks for the family atmosphere and huge selection of pistols, rifles, shotguns, hard-to-find calibers, collectibles, and older functioning hunting rifles with inventory changing daily. Plus, they have on-site gunsmith services from simple cleaning to repair. For cigar lovers, find your favorites in Schrank's humidors, along with a broad selection of pipes and tobacco. Visit SmokeTheletterN.gun.org or call 847-662-4034 and check Facebook and Instagram for frequent flash sales. Drive north and save on taxes at Schrank Smoke & Gun in Waukegan, your family-owned gun store since 1964.
Earnings vary based on your effort. Message and data rates may apply.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses right here in Chicago? If so, we have an amazing opportunity for you. We're looking for a small group of motivated individuals to join our real estate investing team. You'll learn our simple 3-step system for flipping homes right here in the local area. This is Than Merrill, star of A&E's hit TV show Flip This House. My team and I are looking for a handful of people in the Chicago area who want to learn how to make money flipping houses in your spare time using other people's money. Chicago is a perfect market for my system, and this week I'm holding a free 2-hour educational workshop where you will learn how to make money flipping homes and how to build long-term wealth with income properties.
To get 2 free tickets to Than's workshop, text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000. Seating is extremely limited, so text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000 right now because this free ticket offer expires this Friday. Just text your zip code to 82,000.
The Northwest Side GOP Club presents the Ill-Advised Conservative Collective and Banquet. Join them for their annual fundraiser and more, June 21st at Lone Tree Manor in Niles. This is a great opportunity for Chicago area Republicans to get together for an enjoyable evening of information, fellowship, and the promotion of conservative Republican values. The evening begins with a first responder and veteran salute by patriotic rock group Madison Rising and continues with networking, exhibitors, raffles, and a delicious banquet dinner with keynote speaker Dan Proft from AM 560's The Morning Answer. Recently appointed co-chairman of the Illinois Republican Party, Mark Shaw, will also speak on the role of conservatives within the Illinois Republican Party. Like any good conservative collective, the Ill-Advised event will offer attendees the opportunity to interact with local and national organizations, Republican candidates, and elected officials. Don't miss the Northwest Side GOP Club's Ill-Advised Conservative Collective and Banquet with first responder and veteran salute by patriotic rockers Madison Rising, exhibitors, Republican candidates, and elected officials. June 21st at Lone Tree Manor in Niles. Join them as a sponsor, exhibitor, presenter, or attendee. For tickets and complete information, visit il-advised.com. That's il-advised.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, it may be a while before we get to hear from Special Envoy to North Korea, Dennis Rodman. So I think...
I don't know, because yesterday Sarah Sanders called him and said, hey, thank you for your support of President Trump. And then he asked back, he's like, hey, can I talk to him someday? And she said,
No.
I may... No,
No,
she said,
no chance.
I may work out something where Trump can speak directly to you at some point in time.
Well, what I'd like to do is actually have him come back to Chicago and run for U.S. Senate in 2020.
Oh, there you go. Or you had a better idea. Who's going to be the first ambassador to North Korea?
Could be. Could be the Worm.
Dennis Rodman.
It'd be fun to have an ambassador with the nickname the Worm. Dennis Rodman, though, doesn't want the credit.
Oh,
all right,
really?
does not want the credit.
Oh, now he's being humble. Okay. No, that's fine.
Also, he doesn't consider Kim Jong-un a dictator. He's just a guy. Just a guy looking to fit in.
Well, I've said it from day one. I think the fact that people really didn't realize what I was actually going to North Korea for. I think people thought that what I was doing was more of a joke, more of a stunt. I was just trying to spread the word, the fact that I was going over because I actually pretty much liked the guy. I liked the culture, and he gave me opportunity to get to know him.
Fast friends, likes the guy, likes the culture, likes hanging out, spending QT, shooting hoops,
what do you think he
going
saw
to
when he was
movies.
there?
Rodman, though, as I said, he's trying to deflect credit onto Donald Trump for all that was accomplished, such as it is.
I don't look at him as a dictator. I look at him as more like a person that really wants to try to blend in with the world. And I tried to invade that to people, but people looked at me like I was out of my mind. And I'm not trying to take the credit. I've always said that to everyone in the world. I said, if Trump wants the credit, he could take all the credit. He could have it all. I just want them to talk. And I said that with Obama, and Obama just pretty much blew me off. No. And they thought that I was a laughing stock. I didn't know what I was doing. And I kept trying to tell people that he really wants to talk. He really wants to try to connect with the world, especially America.
Never underestimate the diplomatic chops of a rebounding phenom like Dennis Rodman. Here's the other thing, too. We offer some just general advice. This goes well beyond U.S. and North Korea. This is about getting along with one another.
Is this about bonding? Is this about true friendship? Is this about true love?
You know what it's about? Yeah. It's about love. And he's not afraid to talk about it. Good for him.
Well, that's just a matter of time. I just think that people think this peace treaty or whatever you want to call it, the summit was going to change something overnight. No, I never said that. I said just open the door. He wants to talk. You know, it takes time to try to heal all wounds. We can't put Band-Aids on certain things now and try to make it heal. We got to try to go from the ground up now.
Yeah.
The ground up.
You got to open your heart. That's what he's saying.
Oh, I can't wait. What do you think the first hotel is going to be called?
I just want to know, how much more does this guy need to do to get Carmen Electra back?
Thanks so much for making us part of your day. We'll see you back and early, bright here tomorrow morning. I can't speak English tomorrow. I'll be able to. We'll be here tomorrow morning, 5 a.m. Now here is Mike Scott.
Brewers 2 hit the Cubs. White Sox quiet the Indians. WIND Chicago News Time.